Tonight, we interview Max, Phillip, and Jeffrey of Cooking with Unity, a web series of YouTube videos that teaches you how to create video games using Unity step by step in detail. We'll take your questions live and chat along with your comments, calls, and emails right now on the show, where every gamer has a voice.
Orange Lounge Radio.
Hello, my friends out there on the internet, and welcome back to another week of the show where every gamer has a voice. It is Orange Lounge Radio, live with this, our 579th episode, December the 14th, 2014. Live, as we are every Sunday night at the Voice of Geeks Network, vognetwork.com, 6 o'clock Pacific, 9 o'clock Eastern. Right after the Bobby Blackwolf show. My name is Rob Roberts, here with you to talk about video games, gaming culture, and the gamer lifestyle with my co-hosts. Say hello first off to the one and only Dark Sakura, or Jamie Summers.
Maybe I should just go by Madame Spanky. I don't know.
You do have a very hoarse voice tonight. I don't mean like What happened? Are you okay?
I had the plague.
Oh, I thought maybe you went to like a New Kids on the Block concert and were screaming really loud or something.
No,
yeah.
I everyone at Lowcat has had the plague, and I starved it off for a solid 2 to 3 weeks, and then it finally got me. And then when it got me, it really freaking got me.
Well, as long as you don't give it to us here in the studio.
You know what? That's so rude. You should be like, "Oh, I hope you feel better," and then go take some vitamins. I'm kidding. People always say that, and I'm just always like, you know what? Maybe it just always strikes me as a little bit odd. Because all I've been hearing is, don't get me sick. Don't get me sick. I'm like, don't you want me to feel better?
Of course we want you to feel better, but, you know.
And not get you sick.
I mean, either you're going to feel better or you're going to die. There's no, like, there's
I don't
no
know.
real,
Death
like...
might sometimes make you feel better. No, I'm kidding.
Kidding.
But it turned into an upper respiratory infection. So
Yikes.
Yeah, I took codeine today.
Well, you know what'll fix you right up is some coffee. That's what you need.
I'm drinking some, but
Good.
I can't taste it.
All right. Well, good luck. But
it tastes vaguely like coldies.
If we hear a little less from you tonight, this is why, because you're obviously, even when you walked in here, you were sign languaging me basically, or you just really wanted to flip me off for something I did. I don't know.
No.
All right. And they're even asking in chat there, does Jamie need to be turned up a little bit? Probably, but she's just also she's just quiet because
I could try talking like this. Hey, what's up, bitches?
No, you're fine. Your audio's fine. You're just a little weak tonight. Well, he's not weak tonight. He's here strong as ever. Say hello to Techmaster Loki.
I eat too much too fast, I think.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
I hope you don't get the other kind of sick.
No.
Right.
I skipped lunch today because, I was working on the show roll and stuff, and then I was just tired and was going to take a nap because of the kids. And so I didn't bother to get up from the couch to make lunch. And so now I just got, the bacon ultimate cheeseburger. I know, a very light meal. And then I just ate that really fast. And I'm like, oh, wow, I'm really full now.
That hurt. Oh, so a power meal to get you through
It's like just
the show.
uncomfortably full, but that's all right.
All right.
But yeah.
Let's see. Going
Thankfully, I'm not sick.
Going to our chat room over at live.vognetwork.com if you want to participate with our show, because, again, we tape live on Sunday nights at vognetwork.com. You can join us in the chat, live.vognetwork.com. Bobby Blackwolf, our pal who's on before us, saying, Jamie channeling her inner Travis Donovan with that What's Up, Bitches. Our good pal from Under Sedation Live, which is Saturdays here. So there you go. Let's see, Dark Sakura, you wonder, I just have to say this comment because you're talking about this. I wonder if I should try making a webcomic in Unity. Well, why not? Maybe you should.
I want to do it dating sim style, with image, because I love Homestuck, how it's got all the animations and whatnot, but I hate how all the text is at the bottom. You have to scroll through 50 million piles of stuff.
If you make it, you can put it at the top.
They do have, I have seen in the assets store, they did have something for like dating sim style game, like a system already built out, for that.
So but I've had the idea of doing it that way for a little bit, so.
Well, let's talk about why our chatters are talking about Unity tonight, because we do have some special guests coming on the show in about 45 minutes here. Loki, I'm going to have you talk about these guys, because this is actually a show that you've referenced quite a bit in the making of your own game that you're trying to make right now, amongst, new job, amongst raising kids, amongst Ultimate Bacon Cheeseburger.
Yes. So so I don't even remember how I came across them. I'm sure probably just looking up information about Unity on YouTube and stuff like that, just kind of trying to learn wherever. And I found the show, and it was just very informative, very entertaining. That's incredibly important, and it's just fun to listen to. Like, even while I'm working on my stuff and programming and stuff, I just love listening to them. And just
Does this show have a name?
Yes, I'm getting there.
Okay.
Hold on.
Oh, sorry, you're building anticipation.
So
okay.
anyway, the show was Cooking with Unity, and hosted by Maximilian Moreau, and of course he has Jeffrey and Phil on the show as well. Occasionally, sometimes they're there, sometimes they're not. But they do a show twice weekly. Originally, it was twice weekly on Monday, and then also on Thursdays. Thursdays tends to be like a 2D episode. So they'll do, for example, 2 different games kind of at the same time. So one, I think they were working on was it last week? It was a rail shooter, so kind of like House of the Dead, I guess, if you want to, something like that for the 3D show. And then on the 2D show, they're working on a project called Fight Go Right, which is kind of like a beat 'em up, 2D arcade game, like Ninja Turtles or The Simpsons Arcade or Final Fight or something like that. And so kind of the 2 different styles in there. Plus, now Max has been doing a show in the mornings called Breakfast with Unity, which actually started off about to be like 10 to 15-minute shows, but I've been noticing they've been getting longer and longer, which is cool because he goes over kind of quick little tips on.
That's okay. When the
different
Orange
things.
Lounge Radio podcast started, it was supposed to be 45 minutes, and now, oops.
But yes, absolutely entertaining. And what's kind of cool though is they interact with the people that are listening or watching the show live, and so you can ask questions about things, you can make suggestions on stuff, and it's just kind of nice to have that live feedback, And also, he invites everyone on every show. Hey, if you have a question about something or you just need some help on something, just send me an email and I'll help you out. And it's really nice.
I love their attitude. I can't profess to know as much about Unity. I'm not as into, quote unquote, the programming side, but I love that these guys at the end of their videos, they talk about, you should, or in their descriptions too, they say, go download Unity and make a game. That's very much kind of like their message is that more people should, basically be making games. And I love that because that's kind of the type of thing I've always said about podcasting. Because I've had people come to me and say, well, Rob, I want to start my own video game podcast, but I don't want you to be mad or see me as competition because I know you've got a video game podcast. I'm like, it's not, no, it's not like that. I want you to make that's like the ultimate compliment if somebody goes and creates their own podcast. We need more indie voices out there. Go forth and podcast, please. That's a great thing. So I love that they bring that kind of message to games. We need more people making games. I love that.
And I haven't caught up on all the back videos that I missed because I came into it a little bit late. But
there's a lot. I had no idea where to begin.
They've got like a couple series. Highly recommend that they've done. One recently, which I just think it's fantastic, and I'm probably going to go look at it a bunch when I'm actually getting to publishing, but it's From Scratch to Publish, where they literally make a game, and I even have it on my phone. It's fun, because my phone actually tries to play it on its own sometimes because it's possessed. But they start and they make a game from scratch, and he goes through all the steps to even getting it published on iOS, on the Android store.
I noticed that
Windows
it was,
Store. Yeah,
it got into a lot of like not just here's how you program, but here's how all that other stuff that sometimes a programmer doesn't want to have to get involved with, but you do.
Yeah, so it was very informative. And then he's got like some other series. He did one. Which was like a Star Fox style game. I think I saw one with pinball in there.
One that I looked at because it was short and it was their little featured video on their page was the one where they made the game in 3 minutes. That was kind of like the reverse Kaboom, where you don't try to catch the bombs, you try to avoid them instead. And it was such a like. It kind of gets back into what we were talking about, and it's kind of been almost a running theme on this show for the past month, ever since YYR unveiled Pixel Shits here on yes, that was the game he made, and I think he did that in Unity, right? Yeah. I don't know if he's used their videos, but he used Unity to make that very Atari 2600 game. And we've talked about how sometimes it's just the idea. Like, you don't necessarily need all these like gung-ho Final Fantasy-esque graphics, although that's a nice thing for games to have. You don't necessarily need that. So, I mean, this game that they did in 3 minutes, and they're like, time me, and the whole thing was a stupidly simple concept. I mean that in a complimentary way that was executed quickly and easily. So it was really cool, and it just kind of went to show like, oh yeah, you really can do this if you're just willing to, put a little time in learning it. So they will be on the show 45 minutes, give or take. We'll have them on the show, and you can ask your questions live if you happen to be listening over at live.vognetwork.com. Before we get there, though, to the Cooking with Unity guys, which quick plug for their site, of course, if you want to look at their videos, when you're done with the show, of course. Cookingwithunity.com just takes you right to their YouTube page.
Yeah, they also have a Patreon, and then, also, I believe, YouTube / like Pushy Pixels is their channel, I want to say.
All right, we'll let them plug all their stuff they want to plug. If they got Twitters and all that stuff, we'll get that a little later on. But let's get into, we got to talk about video gaming and what's been going on, because this week was a little less crazy than last week. Obviously, last week was a very atypical week for a December news pattern with the PlayStation Experience going on and the Game Awards happening. We had a lot of news come in last week, so things have started to slow down a little bit this week. But there's still quite a bit going on, and so I want to talk about this big one to start, because this is something that's outside of even just gaming. This is something that has started with something you've heard about on the nightly news. You've heard about it everywhere, and that is about the hack that took place of Sony Pictures. The two are not tied together, Sony Pictures and PlayStation, other than the obvious partnership, because at the end of the day, it's the same parent company. So a lot of the stuff they pitch to you on the PlayStation Network are movies made by Sony Pictures, right? But just because Sony Pictures got hacked, it didn't really affect the PlayStation side of things at all. But certainly this is the second time in less than 5 years that Sony has had to deal with a major hacking issue. And there's been a lot of stuff exposed because of this hack, and some of that has to do with very tabloid sorts of stuff, like what did this director say in this confidential email about Angelina Jolie, and so forth. But it's also been very interesting into, how Hollywood really works. And it's really been eye-opening for a lot of people, not always in a positive way. And certainly there's an ethical debate to be had about that, about should we be analyzing all this stuff that came out of a hack? But I don't really want to have that debate today, because I can't really talk about should it or should it not have happened. It did happen, and now all this stuff is out there for us to sort of analyze, and us turning our back to it and saying la la la, it didn't happen is not going to necessarily make it go away, right?
Right.
So that all being said, one of the big things that's catching a lot of gamers' attention is this talk of, is Sony about to make a Super Mario Brothers movie? And how the fuck does that even work when Super Mario Brothers is a Nintendo thing? Nintendo has said, we're never doing a movie again, because that John Leguizamo, Bob Hoskins movie was so bad. Dennis Hopper, right, in that too. It was so bad, we're never doing a movie again. How does it even work where Nintendo teams up with their quote-unquote enemy to make a movie? Now, quickly, if you haven't heard about this, some of the information that came out of the Sony Pictures hack were some emails that went back and forth between producer Avi Arad to Sony studio chief Amy Pascal. And in the emails, which were dated, like this is recent. This is not like, this is a project that happened 4 years ago that got shelved. This email was from October 23rd. And the producer said, I am the proud father of Mario the animated film. And he sent pictures with Shigeru Miyamoto, Satoru Iwata, and one of them actually said, happy CEO, let's get together. It's the mother load. So essentially, this producer went over to Japan, had a meeting with the Nintendo higher-ups, and apparently, and we were having to kind of read between the lines a little bit, and, again, consider that this information we're not supposed to know. We are not supposed to know this, but it got out. So take it with a huge grain of salt. But apparently what happened, the Sony producer went over there, or the producer went over there and pitched the movie. It's supposed to be an animated film.
Yeah, I was going to say, I could see that as an animated film.
Which also makes a little more sense as to why Nintendo might be on board, because it wouldn't necessarily be like a live-action thing. Nintendo has been experimenting a little bit with the animated film. They had the Pikmin movies that showed up at that Japanese film festival that Miyamoto actually was a big part of. So certainly Nintendo's dipping their toe in the water of these animated films. But I'm sure a lot of people are asking, well, why Sony? But, well, why not Sony?
Because they're a motion picture studio. Yeah. They've got an animation studio. Nintendo doesn't have an animation studio. Yeah. I mean, so your choices are, I don't know if they're limited, but if you're looking at really big animation studios, you got Pixar and Sony Pictures Animation, DreamWorks Animation, and there's a lot of other smaller ones out there, but I mean, it makes sense. I mean, look at how they've treated their properties. Sony. I mean, they've got a Ratchet and Clank movie coming out that looks pretty awesome, and I don't know about the other PlayStation 3 title that they made an animated movie. Whatever. That one wasn't that great, but I mean, the source material wasn't that great to begin with either.
Let me jump in here in our chat room because a lot of people saying this in our chat over at live.vognetwork.com, and Rama starting us off saying Sony Pictures is technically different from SCEI, so it's plausible for this to happen. And yeah, I think that's the important thing, is that even though at the end of the day you have Sony and then these are different divisions of Sony, that agreement that Nintendo may or may not have with Sony Pictures doesn't necessarily have to carry over into PlayStation. And I'm sure that is very explicitly stated in the contract. This does not mean that Mario's going to show up on the PlayStation. So get those fanboy images out of your head. You're not going to have Super Mario the game, or the Super Mario the movie, the game. What was it called when they did it with Street Fighter 2? That game was so bad.
It was Street Fighter the movie, the game.
Street Fighter the movie, the game. You're not going to have Super Mario Brothers the movie, the game show up on the PlayStation 4. It's not going to happen. And I bet Nintendo has that all very clamped. There would be no... And Nintendo probably has 100% control over the merchandise, because merchandising is something Nintendo really wants to get into now, probably, especially after what's going on with all this Amiibo crap that we'll get into later.
I gotta say it. Merchandising.
Right? So I'm sure the agreement is very much, this is about a movie and only a movie. And, but as they say in the email, it's the mother load. I mean... an animated Super Mario Brothers movie, there's an instant audience for that. You don't even need to see a trailer for it. You really don't.
Heavenly Sword was the title I was thinking of, because they did a direct-to-video animated movie. It was just crap, but Heavenly Sword wasn't that great to begin with.
Yeah. Dark Tetsuya in chat saying, who was behind Final Fantasy The Spirits Within? Was that Sony?
That was Sony.
Yeah, but Square Pictures was a part of that. That was a division that Square created and faded away real quick.
A company that I wish would really do more stuff, because it wasn't bad. It was just not Final Fantasy. It's just they kind of... It's as much Final Fantasy as was the Castlevania game.
Honestly, there was a lot in that movie that was kind of ahead of its time, but we digress here a little bit. So what do you guys think when you hear about a Super Mario Brothers animated movie? Do you think this is something that should happen, or let's stop with these video games should be video games, movies should be movies? When they cross over, it rarely does well.
No, I think it's fine. Especially if it's animated, that'd be fine, because it's when you do the live action stuff that doesn't really make any sense. Look at how many Pokemon movies have we had? Seriously, it's based off a game, so there's no problems there. I don't see why this would be a problem. Animal Crossing movie, I don't know. I didn't see it, but I heard it wasn't bad.
My biggest concern about a Mario movie would be the voice of Mario would be so important, because Mario has a very distinctive voice. Obviously, Charles.
Of course,
Martinet.
It's gonna be still him in the movie.
Charles Martinet never says anything besides the wahoo, yahoo, and all those voices. Mario doesn't really have...
They'll just get Troy Baker to do it. He does everybody, so it's fine. He can do it.
But I can't imagine that Charles Martinet is going to be asked to voice the entire movie. With all due respect to the fantabulous man that Charles Martinet is, I would just think that Sony would probably want to barter for some... name recognizable talent. As painful as that is for a lot of you guys to hear, that's the reality of the harsh businesses of Hollywood. Look at some of those other emails about Andrew Garfield and Spider-Man for what I'm talking about.
I think it'll be fine. Just like there are people that can do the Mario voice that aren't him,
right? And I do think Captain Lou, rest in peace, also pulled off an amazing Mario. It was a different Mario, but it was an amazing, memorable Mario that was a big part of our childhood. So to say that nobody else besides Charles Martinet can portray Mario would not exactly be right, because Captain Lou had a different but awesome Mario. So, but that's where we get into a tricky thing, because if we bring in another talent, then should it be different from the Mario we know in the games?
Here's the tricky thing:
then is it really based off the games?
Here's the tricky thing: is when you bring in talent and they're better than the source material. Perfect example: Heath Ledger as the Joker. No one's going to be able to compare it to Jack Nicklaus's Joker. He was fantastic, and then
I mean the guy that played golf.
Jack Nicholson's whatever. Yes, the golf guy was good too. But anyways, Jack Nicholson. Hey, I'm a fan of both, so that's fine. So no one can compare to him. Heath Ledger, that's terrible casting. And then they saw it and they're like, oh, never mind. No one's gonna be able to, now when the next was it the Batman Superman movie comes out, now it's like I think there's gonna be another Joker in there, and Suicide Squad.
Yeah, the new Joker's in Suicide Squad, and that, I mean, not to digress into a movie podcast, but I mean they're lining up some huge talent for that movie. They're talking about Will Smith's in that movie, and I don't know if it's fan wank or whatever, but there's been talk about Oprah playing Amanda. What's Jamie? Who's the head of the Suicide Squad? Oh, it's DC. I mean, who's the head of the Suicide Squad? Amanda.
This is why I give you this flat look. Like, the fuck do I read DC?
Okay,
no.
But they're talking about putting Oprah Winfrey in the damn movie, and I'm like, is she really going to be? But then the comic book movies are huge. Maybe
Oprah was in The Color Purple.
Yeah, I know.
She was awesome in The Color Purple.
If there was going to be a real life Suicide Squad run by a powerful woman, then yes, Oprah I could see doing that.
But anyway, and then what is the guy's name that got to play the Joker? Jared Leto.
Yeah.
Who I think all the way back to, wasn't he on My So-Called Life? Wasn't that where he started?
I don't remember, but
or one of those like 90s shows or something. And then he did the band. He had that band for a while, and now he's doing this. And so he's going to be the Joker. And now you're right. Everybody's going to inevitably compare him to
Heath Ledger. Same with Batman. I mean, Batman, they've been doing that, comparing.
It's true.
It's a different take on it. And honestly, I don't know. I think
Amanda Waller, thank you. Amanda
so that's
Waller.
why I'm not saying if they come out with, if he's gonna have a different voice in the movie, it's not a big deal. I don't think it's gonna, as long as it works, I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah.
If it's really weird, then yeah, that's gonna be okay. But
what other quick thought on this, and then we'll get into our gaming weeks. Is this could be interesting? I mean, who knows what's going to happen because of the hack now? Nintendo may get cold feet and pull out of this altogether, and the hack may have fucked this movie. I mean, who knows?
No, I doubt it.
Movies end up in development hell all the time. Just because this conversation happened doesn't mean the movie was ever going to end up really being a thing. But it does open this interesting door. I mean, if Mario's going to end up being an animated thing, every Friday on the Super Mario Brothers Super Show, what did they have every Friday? The Zelda cartoon. That was, screw that show Monday through Thursday. It was all about Friday, with no disrespect to Captain Lou, but it really was all about Fridays and the Zelda cartoon. And again, creating that very distinctive character that wasn't necessarily the same one from the games. Excuse me, princess. When has that ever been uttered in one of the games?
They really should reference that.
They really should, actually. But anyway, you can see the point I'm getting to. If a Nintendo Mario movie comes out, could Sony soon make a Zelda movie? Is an animated Zelda movie the type of thing you guys would want to see? Or do we need to see IGN's April Fool's trailer from 6 years ago expanded into a full movie?
Both.
You want both.
I also speaking of IGN, I would also like to see their series. What was it, the Hogwarts detective series or whatever that they had, where it was like a cop drama set in the Harry Potter world. Yeah, I'd totally be down for that too.
Alan Alchemy in our chat room confirming that Jared Leto's big break was My So-Called Life. Thank God I haven't forgot my 90s pop culture trivia. Phew. I could still kick butt in a game of Trivial Pursuit. Some various people in chat talking about Amanda Waller and the different portrayals. We have Brad from Pod Culture coming right out and saying, fuck the new 52. So not always popular, the reboot there. So anyway, and Akuma JP singing along, Friday, gotta get down.
No,
Friday.
stop.
Right.
You know what?
What?
She did a sequel song called Saturday, and it was actually kind of good.
She milked that 15 minutes of fame. But anyway.
Well, the Saturday one is totally just making fun of Friday, but it was pretty funny.
Back to the movie chat. because we get on tangents sometimes on the show. Back to the movie.
Well, you don't say.
Dark Sakura, Mario animated movie. Is that something you'd be down for?
I think the Robitussin face that I just made sort of applies to that too.
So no, that was a very much do not want, or it's nope o'clock face.
It might be good for me, but I don't really want it.
I'd be down with a Mario movie as long as it's set in like the Super Mario RPG universe, because they had
I
some
would
pretty
be down
awesome
for that.
characters for that.
All right.
I do kind of miss the old Super Show cartoon because that was fun. Actually, of the ones I liked were the Saturday morning ones that was set in the Mario world.
Oh yeah, the later ones, right?
Yeah, those were good. Those were good. I like those.
All right. Well, we will maybe see what comes of this, because my other big question,
And-
would it be traditional cell animation like the old cartoons, or would it be like that more modern
No, it'd be CG.
CGI Viva Pinata looking thing?
Well, I was actually going to say if they did a Zelda one, it would have to be a bit more serious and not the 80s cartoon style.
Right.
Viva Pinata. There's a franchise that's Microsoft really wanted to force down our throats and to becoming popular. It just didn't happen.
I'd like to see something the way that, you know, how Street Fighter 4 is done, with that sort of 3D yet 2D-esque.
Kind of that jump out at you animation.
Right, where it's got the appearance of cell shading, but
comic
not
book in
quite.
motion.
Yeah.
That's kind of what that looks like to me.
Or like Borderlands.
Yeah.
Something
So
that's...
your was it
Super Smash
cartoon
Brothers on the
shading
3DS.
with an outline? You know,
Super Smash Brothers on the 3DS, basically.
I just think that it would lend itself well to Zelda if
All right.
it was going to be like a animated thing.
Some quick comments from chat to wrap this all up, and then we'll get into our gaming weeks, because it is a show where every gamer has a voice, and some of the voices in chat right now. Raginator says, hell, I'll take any Zelda movie, live action or animated, so long as it's good. Rama saying a live action Super Mario Brothers movie would be great, provided it's a fantasy setting like Willow. And some comments on Viva Pinata. YYR saying Viva Pinata was actually a pretty good game. Magma Lemur, I don't think I've seen
Magma
that game
Lemur.
before, so welcome. Magma Lemur, sorry. Saying Viva Pinata was a fine game.
And if I remember correctly, I want to say it's like one of the free games with gold games that's coming up pretty
I
soon.
think it was a while ago.
A while
actually.
ago? Oh, yeah, because I didn't download it. I'm like, Viva Pinata. Yeah, I played it, when it came out. It was just, I don't know.
All right. We're going to get into our gaming weeks. We got plenty more news to get to, but let's talk about our gaming weeks first and the types of video games that we have been playing this week to help you establish, like, where's our head at when we're talking about all these games this week? What games have been filling our brains this week? Dark Soccer, I'll start with you.
I've been playing a lot of Dragon Age.
Oh, yes.
A lot.
A lot.
I hit 40 hours
Oh, wow.
on starting my second playthrough.
And she's still in the hinterlands.
No, I'm not. I keep going back to the hinterlands whenever I need elf fruit. Although I did find, of all places, a really good place to get elf fruit and blood lotus in the western approach in the desert.
Why 40 hours? Why? What has grabbed you about this game for 40 hours?
I'm just running around doing shit. Really. I'm MMOing it.
It keeps you a busy bee?
I'm MMOing the lawn.
So Dragon Age, I always want to say Dragon Age Origins, but Dragon Age Inquisition is like an MMO without the other people.
Exactly. That makes it perfect. I'm serious. Because then I can just have, because I run it through Steam so I can screenshot it. After this playthrough, though, I'm going to go in and set up the cinematic tools so I can go in and take pretty screen caps and whatnot. But I've been doing this odd thing where, like, because I've been delirious on coding for the last couple of days, I've been creating my own dialogue in my head. Like, so now my Inquisitor is just this utter, like, airhead who's like, everyone's like, we're dying, we're being killed. She's like, look, I found Blood Lotus. Help me gather. But the Quillback's Blood Lotus.
Is that like when Alan and I watch the nightly news and we mute it and then we just talk instead of the anchors, what they'd be saying to each other?
That sounds awesome.
We're really good at that game, by the
I've
way.
actually just been tempted to make a stupid Tumblr just for the weird dialogue that goes on in my head during that game. I've already started putting some on my regular Tumblr, and I'm like, I can't. I don't know.
DAIMH, Dragon Age in my head.
Well, someone's have said, are you going to do Dragon Lol? like you do
'cause you're
lull
Mass
effect,
Effect, yeah.
and I'm like, fuck no. Do you know how long it takes me just to think of something for Mass Effect?
Haven't you talked about you were mentioning to me the other day you were trying to do some broadcasting with it, but it was kind of
No.
bumpy 'cause-
I wasn't trying to do broadcasting. Rageinator kept wanting to watch me play.
Oh.
And it worked fine a couple of times, but every other time it's like, freeze the game, and it would eventually unfreeze and I could save. But this last time, here I was freshly on a dose of codeine cough syrup. And when I am on opiates, I will switch from moods like you will not believe. And I was like, I can't, I gotta turn off the game. It better saved. My last save corrupted. What am I gonna do? And then it worked. So...
But that's
and then I
probably,
ended up playing like another fucking 15 minutes.
that's probably the whole conflict between the fact that Dragon Age is not really a Steam game because it's all on Origin and
then I was like, but wait, I play this game so I don't have to play with other people. I don't want anyone to watch me run around in
turn
circles.
off the broadcast thing then.
Well, no, I'm just gonna deny him in the future. But like half the thing that I do
Denied.
is like, can I jump up on this cliff? I found half the shit I found by trying to climb rocks.
I keep my
So
broadcast.
Skyrim.
I keep my broadcast
I
channel
don't
open
care.
all the
I still
time.
try to do that.
If somebody wants to watch me stream when I'm
I
playing,
am not
then
an
that's fine.
exhibitionist like you, Rob.
But I always say don't expect me to entertain you. Like I do, if I do a Twitch stream, then I'm gonna be on cam and make witty commentary. But if you're gonna tap in and watch me playing something on Steam, that's what you're gonna see is me playing something on Steam. I'm not, I'm usually trying to relax and do that. So.
But at any rate, my big thing lately is I'm just really running around and exploring. I'm actually customizing my castle right now, which is like, oh, we've got this big guy out of here with red shit growing out of his face. We got to stop him or he's going to destroy the world. And I'm like, Blood Lotus! All hail Skyhold. It is the best castle ever. I will decorate it with all the things.
Can you quickly tell us about that funny thing we were talking about on Steam chat the other day, the Staff of Sad or whatever it was called?
The sad weapon.
Whoa. I have slayed Dark Soccer
It's
with
like-
this sad weapon.
It's like Mark something mace. It's a banana nailed to a stick. You find a schematic for it. And it requires 3 sad splinters to make it. It is a banana nailed to a stick. So I've decided that maybe if when Gamer X happens this next year, I'm actually thinking about doing some kind of dwarf cosplay because I'm short and buxom. And I have decided that if I cosplay a dwarf, she's going to carry around the sad weapon.
Nice.
The banana on a stick.
The question is who will get it, but I bet there'll be a lot of people probably that actually get that. So
I also have a slight regret, and that's putting Varric in the scout meal because he needs to show off his carpeted chest, his carpeted dwarven chest.
All right.
Manly chest hairs.
All right,
Wait, I played other shit.
Okay. Well, God, you could talk for 3 hours just about Dragon Age, clearly.
I played some Final Fantasy today so that I wouldn't get kicked out.
14, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So I wouldn't get kicked out. And I've played some Flux.
Okay.
And I have an odd addiction to a game called Moonlight Mahjong.
Mm-hmm.
Makes me feel like I'm 70 years old, but I fucking love that game. I have no idea why, but whenever I just need something mindless to do, it's Moonlight Mahjong. That's
Nice.
it.
Awesome. All right. Loki, how was your gaming week?
My son's been playing a ton of Lego Marvel Superheroes, so I had to play that game too. So I finished the game, at least the story portion of it, and I'm still trying to platinum it. But the thing is, now that I've been playing it more, I'm starting to notice all the bugs. And first off, okay, I had to reinstall the game because it crashed. It would crash like all the time, and it was really annoying. So I finally reinstalled it, and that seems to fix that part. But now I'm getting weird glitch issues where, I'll play as a character or something, and like I had one the other day where I couldn't control the character very well. Like it would only go in one direction and not the other directions, and end up having to kill him with another character in order to get control of him again. But What else? Oh, and then for some reason, they have like these racing segments you have to do in the game, and the flying controls aren't very good, so you either go slow or you go super fast and can't control it. And, trying to go a little bit faster or just kind of control things, it just goes out of control very often. And the racing, they have racing controls. So your driving controls are just, gas, brake, and left, right, and that steers. Okay, well, that's how it is for the cars, but then they have these little RC car type things where they like, hey, you know what, let's just fucking change the steering control altogether. Let's just have it gas, brake, and then you have to push in the direction that you want to go. So like if I want to turn and I'm going to the left, I have to push down, which makes no fucking sense. And so I was getting super frustrated with it because I'm trying to go. It's literally like just an oval track that happens to be on a roof, but the car just veers off the edge and just flies into the ground. I'm like, fuck this. I don't want that stupid car that this thing unlocks anyways, but I can't get a platinum in the game if I don't finish it, and it's really annoying. But it's fun. I've been unlocking some characters. My son's now a fan of the song that plays in the credits and also in the home screen for the game, which is the Mary Marvel marching song or something like that. It's basically, I think, the Stanley's fan club's official song or something. So he's like really into that. And then he's been enjoying playing Loki because now I have Loki unlocked. So it's fun. And then I finally figured out how to customize my characters. So I have a character with Thor's hammer and Loki's helmet and a goatee and stuff.
That sounds awesome that you've been able to be doing a lot of gaming with your kid.
Yeah, he's been very obsessed with it though. Like he gets mad if you have to turn the game off. So yeah, we're working on that. But yeah, he can actually play it now. I'm just trying to get him to, be able to, do it without me having to help him. Like switching characters is what he has trouble with usually.
All right. My gaming week, if you're all done.
I am.
My gaming week, not a lot of new stuff to talk to you guys about. I've been playing a lot of the same stuff, because not a lot of new stuff's come out. But I've continued to play like Final Fantasy 14, which I decided to level a gladiator who's now a paladin for no particular reason. But Alan made my little female Lala, I play a little female Lala, an entire set of all pink armor. So I look adorable. So that's kind of one thing I've been doing in Final Fantasy 14. I played Geometry Wars 3. Earlier this week, and I actually played over SharePlay because Extifer saw me playing, and he's like, I don't know much about that game, but I really like twin-stick shooters because he's really into like Super Stardust. So Extifer, if you listen to my other show, Horde House, you know Extifer, he was like, can we do the SharePlay thing? And I was like, sure. So we hopped on SharePlay, and then I realized, he doesn't just have to watch me. Geometry Wars has that whole co-op built in, and it has you can play online mode, but then there's also the couch co-op. But thanks to SharePlay, you don't really need the couch. You can have the virtual couch. So we actually played a little bit of that, and it actually ran. You would think there'd be a lot of lag, especially in a shooter. It ran really well, and Extifer was able to hold his own pretty good on Geometry Wars over SharePlay. So thumbs up to that SharePlay technology because it's really unlocking new uses in these games. So being able to play Geometry Wars on the big virtual couch was a really awesome thing. So that was cool. So more Geometry Wars 3. And then one new but not really new thing that I've been playing a lot of this week, and this might surprise some of you guys, I've been playing a lot of Final Fantasy 13 on Steam. As you guys probably know, Final Fantasy 13 came out on Steam a couple months ago, and a lot of people weren't happy with it because it had some really weird issues with the graphics, such as you could play in a window that was 720 pixels, that's it. Or you could play at full screen, 720 pixels. That's it. And there was just a lot of weird, crappy bugs with it. Well, they released this week a graphic patch. So now you can play in a window that's 720 pixels, or you can play in a 1080 pixel window. And they actually have the 1080p modes are kind of in this now. And you can play a whole lot of custom resolutions full screen. So I can play my native resolution full screen, which is what I've been doing. And the game looks great. Now, not everything in the game is 1080p because like some of the pre-rendered movies and things like that is stuck at the way they were rendered. They haven't really gone back and upped any of those things. But I'll tell you what, maybe it's because my machine's a little newer. I upgraded a lot of it this year, but some parts of the game run smoother at like a 60 frames a second. Like smoother than it does on the PlayStation 3. And just the way a lot of the colors and things are kind of even more vibrant on a computer monitor than they are necessarily on the TV while I'm playing on the PlayStation 3 is just, I can just sit there and just watch the beauty of this game really unfold. And I know the game itself gets a lot of shit for some of its characters and the fact that the first few hours of the game is press A to win, type of thing. But I think if you can get over that little hurdle, there's a really great story in there that's a lot of fun to experience. And I'm having fun kind of going back and experience it again because this is really my second full proper playthrough. And I'm noticing a bunch of shit this time that I didn't notice the first time, such as characters that don't show up until partway through the game are actually in the game early on if you look for them. They're, in the background or like an aside type of thing, but they're there. So I'm kind of having fun looking at that. So kudos to Square for putting out that patch that actually fixed the damn game. Mostly, though, I do have one thing I've got to still complain about, and that is that I was really throwing a fit on Twitter and IRL because I got the graphic patch installed and I started running it and I'm like, why is it skipping? And what would happen is that it would run like 20 frames, skip, 20 frames, skip. And it was this very noticeable like skip. It would be like, go, stop, go, stop, go, stop. It was just really, really annoying. I can't play the game like that. It's too distracting. Well, I get really frustrated and I'm like, God damn it. Why don't they put out a fucking demo so I can see that this is a piece of shit port before I start playing it? And Alan looks over my shoulder. He goes, oh, I had that same problem. And that's happening because your Xbox controller isn't plugged in. If you plug it in, it'll stop doing that. And I'm like, really? And I plugged it in. And sure enough, it stopped doing that.
That doesn't make any fucking sense.
That doesn't make any fucking sense. But swear to God, that's what fixed it. And I don't know. I don't think an Xbox controller is required, so I don't know if it's because I used one previously.
It shouldn't
so it was looking
still
for...
cause any frame
Right?
skips if
Right?
it's an Xbox controller plugged in.
Yeah. So a lot of that stuff was annoying to say the least. But if you can clear some of those technical issues, the game is really good. Not that I can necessarily give Square a buy on a lot of these issues that are just like, really? Like it skips if the controller's not plugged in, really? Like there's a lot of those little issues that it's hard to give Square a buy on, but if you can get past them, I would argue that the Final Fantasy 13 PC port may actually be better than the PS3 port. And I'm really excited to get into 13.2 at some point, even though I hear not all the DLC carried over because of licensing issues. I'm really excited to beat 13 and then get into 13.2, which just released on Steam this past week. So there you go. I've been spending a lot of time playing 13. I do have my broadcast channel open, so if you happen to see me online, you can jump in. And I used to with Steam, I used to only accept people on my friends list that I knew, like IRL. So I used to be, but I'm not such a stickler anymore. So for whatever reason, I said no to your request before. Just request again, and I'll accept.
So that broadcasting stuff's actually working now on Steam?
Yeah, it's working. It's not as rich as, say, Twitch, but like what I can do is I can say I have a little thing that is you check the box, and if a friend right-clicks my name and wants to watch my game, then they can. It'll just start streaming the game to them.
Cool.
Yeah, and it'll show me in the corner a little, because Alan and I are playing this a little bit because I wanted to see what it looked like. It'll show a little record light in the corner. It'll say like 1 viewer or 2 viewers, whatever. And then in the top left, in a really tiny font, if anybody says something in chat, it'll show. So it kind of uses that Steam overlay a little bit to be able to pop the important broadcasting information in there. But there's still no webcam. There's still a lot to be desired for, maybe a broadcaster that really, really wants to go pro. But as far as...
So do you have to turn that on, or is that just on by default?
You can turn it off.
Because I can imagine that would use a lot of bandwidth if...
Yeah. No, you can disable it altogether if you want. Most people have it set to the way that Jamie has it set, where somebody can request to watch your stream. But I just open if you're on my friends list, you can just tap in and watch whatever I'm playing. But I just say, when I do a Twitch broadcast, that is performing. That is, I'm going to talk through the game. I'm going to give some explanations. I'm going to tell you what I'm thinking and all that stuff. When I'm Steam broadcasting a game, that's just you peeking in my window looking at my TV. I'm not going to...
That's a little stalkerish.
It is a little stalkery, but it's not like, it's not like it's a webcam in my home. It's just Final Fantasy 13. So it's, not too big a deal. So... All right. Well, in just a couple minutes, we're going to get to our interview here, but I think we have time to squeeze in one story. Oh, I got to do housekeeping real quick. Twitter.com/OLR, of course. And if you want to follow us on Facebook, you can. Facebook.com/orangeloungeradio. And we're also on Google. Google.com/plus Orange Lounge Radio. And we are on YouTube as well, Orange Lounge Radio, and old episodes of the show available on YouTube. Since I know we're interviewing a YouTube channel tonight, we may have some YouTube people that are listening or viewing or what have you tonight. So we do have the YouTube, although the YouTube is just static pictures over the show that Jason puts together. We do not at this time have a camera in our studio because it's Orange Lounge Radio and we're really not that excited. If you want to see me in gym shorts bundled up in a Snuggie, then so be it. But otherwise, it's not that interesting to look at, I don't think.
That, and I still need a haircut. So, yes.
All right, you can see I did some light remodeling in Studio N7, that arcade cabinet that Loki was complaining about last week.
Time.
We finally got it lifted and on and working. It's been a lot of fun, actually. I was playing Burger Time on it earlier.
Nice.
That's all I ever wanted was a Burger Time cabinet in my house. All right, let's get into some news. We'll do one story here, and then we'll get to our interview tonight.
Okay, so Amiibos have been selling pretty well. That's good for Nintendo. I mean, I guess everybody will be willing to buy anything that's in figure form nowadays. But apparently they've sold, Smash Brothers has sold nearly 700,000 copies, and they're saying that apparently the Amiibos themselves have sold quite a few as it is, almost as many copies as the game. So, wow, you guys will really buy a lot of this stuff. I don't know. Personally, I just don't get the Amiibo thing. I mean, it's a cool add-on. I mean, if I want, a figure for my desk or something, that might be a cool thing to buy. But since the functionality is just not there for me. I
have a lot of Nintendo friends, like Nintendo fan friends, on my Twitter, and let me tell you, the thirst is real for these things. I have people. Somebody I follow on Twitter actually said, "I am so frustrated over this, I'm going to cry," because they couldn't find the figures that they want. Like, I guess Nintendo released 3 new figures today. The Little Mac and the Diddy Kong came out today, and Zelda. Oh, yeah, because that's obviously one people want is Zelda. And so people really want these figures, right? But they're so hard to find because Nintendo and hardware equals LOL. And I guess these things are really hard to find, and people are getting really, really frustrated at how hard these things are to get because now that we know Nintendo's pulling them from shelves, it's like maybe they're not going to get one. I don't know. Well,
I think that you guys are just playing into their hands, if you ask me, but that's fine. And yeah, they're saying Nintendo did confirm that they're discontinuing some Amiibo figures after initial shipments. They're saying we will aim for certain Amiibos to always be available. These will be for our most popular characters like Mario and Link. Due to shelf space constraints, other figures will not return to the market once they have sold through their initial shipment. I think that's a load of crap, if you ask me, because I think that the reason they're doing that is not necessarily shelf space, but they want you to feel the urge, like, oh crap, if I don't buy this right now, I'm never gonna get it. It's just like the fucking Wii U was. They're trying to give you that impression that if you don't buy it now, when you see it on that shelf, you're never going to get one. I don't believe that for 1 second because they know that they're making money off of this. They're going to keep reprinting this. And if it's any indication, like they've done with other games, they will have variants that they'll make. Or there'll be a different color one or something that comes out later on or something. And then of course they're saying that certain Amiibos are sold out and they may return later on. They're saying some Amiibos were very popularly launched and possibly some Amiibos in the United States, Canada, and Latin America may not be available right now due to the high demand efforts. I guess that's to be expected because people are really clamoring for these. I don't understand why, but once again, it's Nintendo. And people are fans of Nintendo. But I'm not going to buy for a second, though, that if there's an Amiibo that's sold out, I don't think that there's any figure that's in low demand right now. So I'm just not buying that.
Going to our chat room over at live.vognetwork.com, YYR says, I called Nintendo because of a problem redeeming a prepaid card. I asked the phone rep about whether they were going to make more Wii U GameCube adapters. Exact quote from rep. I know, right? Bottom line, NOA has no clue as to whether more stuff is being made. I would expect the same to be true of Amiibos.
I think, I think their strategy, and this has been their strategy since the Wii came out, and there's
starve the
shortage,
market?
is the starve the market to drive up demand. It fucking worked, and people are buying into it. So why wouldn't they do it? The fact that they're saying that, oh well, we may not, once we sell through this, we may not bring it back. Yeah, I could see that as possible. It's a possible scenario if you have like an Amiibo figure that just is not popular. Like it's like, say that they came out with, I don't know, a Birdo figure or something, and no one fucking.
I will be fucking buying that.
Okay, I
day
understand
one,
that you would buy it, but let's just hypothetically throw out there. I don't know.
How dare you? How dare you say that Birdo has no fans out there?
I'm not saying that Birdo doesn't have any fans. I'm just trying to throw out a random new character. I'm not going to go down the list of every single character in Mario games.
Okay, I got one for you. Ice climbers. Too soon.
I'm just saying, though, if they're going to, let's just say, hypothetically, that they have a character that's just not popular.
The dude in Hogan's Alley, because when has Nintendo ever revisited that game?
All right, that's
Never.
fine.
The
Okay,
dude
from Hogan's Alley, or how about CDI Mario, okay? CDI Mario or Zelda.
Okay.
You know, those are figures that they're out there. Derpy, no one wants them, okay? Hypothetically speaking, yes, I could see if they're not selling, they're not going to make more. Once they sell out of their initial shipment, that's it. That's going to be gone. But I think for any of these figures at launch, they're going to totally be restocking that stuff. They're not just going to be... Why would you do that? Why would you stop selling a figure for the hell of it? If it's selling through, you would keep doing it until it stops selling through.
I think if you're the person that's getting really frustrated at not being able to find these figures, let Nintendo know, tweet them, email them. I wouldn't necessarily say call them, because I don't think the people answering the phone can really, apparently they're in the same boat you guys are, but make sure Nintendo knows you want these figures and they're not making enough of them. And that's probably going to be the best thing to get another shipment, right? That's how we ended up getting Earthbound on Virtual Console, a Western release of, The Last Guardian and all these Rainfall games.
And now SSJ100 Matt was saying, listen, Nintendo isn't losing money on the Amiibos. Jerking people around like this is manipulating the market. I don't think that they're not sitting on shelves. They're selling out immediately, so they're going to keep making them. I just think that they're.
But it always sucks when it's selling out immediately, because it's eBay scalpers and buying it up.
Well,
and that's what's happening.
And also, I've got to double check here, because I know I didn't put these stories on our show roll, but they had some news about upcoming figures and the bullshit that they're doing. That crap where it's like, oh hey, you really want Rosalina? Well, it's going to have to go to Target for that.
Yeah.
Or, hey, you want this figure? Well, you got to go to Toys R Us.
Or there's the rumor about that Shulk GameStop is and this is a huge grain of salt, because it's one of those, I work for GameStop, but I'm not going to tell you who I am, where apparently GameStop is going to hold half the Shulks to sell as used. It sounds really, like, I'm almost like, even GameStop's not that low.
Sell them as used. They did that with another title. They did that with the
Metroid
Wii title.
Prime Trilogy.
No, they did that with the reprint of was the Last Story or something like
Xenoblade.
that. Xenoblade. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they sold it for more than retail because of high demand.
Jamie, quick comments. We got to get to our interview with Jamie.
Well, just that my coworker picked up 4 Amiibos, and all they do is sit on the wall between our cubicles, so that we have the eternal battle between Link and Red Ring Rinko from Phantasy Star Online.
Nice.
Just saying.
Well, those Amiibos seem to be doing very, very well for Nintendo. So whether it is artificial or natural, who knows? That's anyone's guess. All right, but we are going to shift gears here quite a bit, because we want to bring onto the show here tonight our friends from the YouTube series Cooking with Unity. We're going to get Max, Phil, and Jeffrey, all of them. They're all actually in the same room, and we're going to talk to them all here tonight, the guys from Cooking with Unity. And if you have questions for them, you can submit it in our chat room over at live.vognetwork.com. But I believe we have them on the line. You guys there?
We are.
Hey.
We are here.
Yep, I'm here as well.
Hello, guys. Welcome to Orange Lounge Radio.
Hello.
Thank you so much for taking time to be with us tonight. And you guys are all in the same room, just like we are.
Yeah, we're all in the same room, and thank you for inviting us. It's exciting to be on your show.
No worries. Actually, I gotta give credit to Loki here. Loki's kind of our game maker here on staff, and he really likes you guys an awful lot. And he's the one that showed me about the show.
I love the show and the banter. The banter is the best part.
All right. Well, I'm glad you do, because a lot of times when we do the banter, we're like, oh, no one is watching this for this. But so it's good to hear that the banter's coming across too. Usually when we're bantering, we're talking about stuff because we've run out of intelligent things to say on the show.
Oh, and we don't want YouTube to clip the video.
Yeah, exactly.
So for those who don't know, Max is the first guy that talked. I'm Phil from Cooking with Unity.
I'm Max,
and I'm Jeffrey.
And yeah, we enjoy doing the show, and I'm really happy that you guys. I'm really happy that Loki is enjoying the show, and it's really great that we got an invite to do this show with you guys, and hopefully we can answer some questions and give people a place to actually start for making games and starting their career making games. So
excellent, because that's where my head's at. Is like, well, you can't say I'm not a fan. I'm still not understanding the subject matter fully, but I want to get there. I want to get to that point someday. So that's really exciting. And I don't know if you guys heard earlier in the show, I was kind of talking about a lot of what you guys seem to do for game creation is a lot of what I've said about podcasting. Is, I don't know if you know, we've been doing Orange Lounge Radio for 12 years. So
that's wild. That's wild,
right?
Especially considering how early podcasting was at the time that you started it. So
yes, absolutely.
Well, there was no podcasting when we first started.
You were a radio station,
yeah,
right?
We were live 365, and then that kind of evolved into that. But we love it when people create their own shows, just like you guys really empower people to make their own games, which I think is so important. Well, let me take a step back and ask you guys, for those that don't know what Cooking with Unity is, tell us about it. What is Cooking with Unity?
So what the show is it's my attempt to educate people on how to make video games. I realized, so I started in the industry at Sony, and I went to Digipin for school and stuff, and so I kind of got immersed in how to make games and stuff. And when I was growing up, there wasn't like as much internet resources for things, and there wasn't even as much internet. And it just seemed like with Unity, this is the time to actually start showing people in general how games are made and what people do when they make games, and what does it mean to make a game. Like my biggest problem was, if you were to ask a random person on the street, how do you make a movie? They wouldn't be able to give you a very specific answer, but they'd be able to say, okay, you get a camera, you get a bunch of people in costumes on the other side of the camera, you shoot the scene, you do some editing, maybe you have a green screen and use the magic of a computer or something, but they'll have a general idea. But if you ask a random person how to make a video game, they're going to just give you this blank stare. They're going to be like, I think you use a computer at some point in the process, and that's like all people know. And making games has gotten a lot easier in the last few years because of all the middleware and engines and tool chains that are available for free or for cheap. We've got Unity, we've got Unreal, we've got CryEngine. We've got smaller, lesser-known ones like Cocos 2D and Airlicht and a few other things. But like, if you want to actually get started making a game, you no longer have to start by making the game engine. You can actually just start making your game, which is exciting. So,
why Unity in particular?
Well, in my case, it's because it just fit my organization style. I started using Unity during a game jam, and I had never used it before. And I was able to make a very simple game in 2 days without having ever touched Unity before. It's just very well organized. I like the way that it's a component-based organization for building things. And the thing is, like, if your question is why Unity over anything else, I'm not going to say that you should use Unity over anything else. I think you should use whatever works best for you. But so like if you download Unreal and it just clicks and you just love the blueprint system and you can understand, you start making a game, I want you to make a game. I don't care if you use Unity or not. But I use Unity because it fits my workflow. I'm very familiar with it. I use it for my own projects, and therefore I can teach it to people and teach how to use it on their projects.
You know why you guys are awesome? Because in that sentence there, you said, I want you to make a game. And I think that is such a great message.
Absolutely.
And that's something that I hear in your videos as well. So let me ask this question. Why is that important? Why should you go make a game?
No. Why shouldn't you make a game? I mean, honestly, like, if you're passionate about something, then you should absolutely go out and do it. You should get that passion out there into the world and develop something. I mean, it's an art form just like anything else. Oh God, I went into the art form thing. Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah, yeah, video games as art is a whole other discussion. But I'm sure you guys have had that one before. But so the thing is, why shouldn't you make a game? The thing is, I talk to a lot of people who play video games, and I always hear game designs from people. I'm like, you know, it'd be a really cool game, and sometimes it'll just be a really high level thing. It'll just be like, if it was Call of Duty, but it had motorcycles, you know, and it might be something as simple as that, or it might be someone has a really cool idea for a puzzle game or something. And everyone has these ideas, and very few people get the opportunity to actually build something that works towards making these games a reality. And the other thing I'm worried about is the games industry, because of how hard it is, or how hard it was, I think it's getting a lot easier, but how hard it is to learn how to make games, it was attracting these people that might not even be interested in the games themselves, but are interested in solving the challenges. And that's great. I have no problem with that. I have no problem with non-gamers making games. But I want to see more gamers making games, because gamers know what they want, and they can actually iterate on the previous art and create something new and interesting. And they already know the limitations that they're working within, and they're going to be able to like figure out how to work around those limitations and change the expectations for games from a perspective of someone who is themselves a consumer of game products.
You know,
so that's really important.
You raise a really good point there, that there's a lot of non-gamers in the game industry, and we've kind of hit on this before when we talk about management decisions that screw games up. You know, they cause buggy things to be released because it's more important to get a game out, you know, at a certain day and date, you know, to satisfy XYZ person. You know, we get that all the time, and I think that's great to get more gamers involved in making games. Sorry, real quick, YYR in our chat room over at live.vognetwork.com says, the feeling of playing something that I created with my own two hands is one of my favorite feelings in the world. If you have questions for our guests tonight from Cooking with Unity, you can ask that in our chat room over at live.vognetwork.com. Have you guys heard of any games that you may have helped through your YouTube series or inspired to create?
We're still early in our history for that kind of thing. I have seen some really cool projects from people who they might not have started with our show, but are definitely using our show now. And I'm really excited to show more of that on the show as things progress. The thing is, right now, I want to. I want to show people what people have made on my show. We want to have more segments that show what other people have made using Unity and what other people have made using whatever they want to make it with. It doesn't have to be Unity specific, and we've seen some really good projects, but they're all in progress, right? They're all stuff that they will need an audience later. And I don't want to just jump the gun, show something that I think is kind of cool now. Other people might not get why it's cool yet, and then when they need the exposure, it might be harder for them to get it. So I'm kind of we don't have any. I don't have any direct examples for you right now, but there will be some soon as these projects kind of come to fruition.
Well, I know of one. I know of at least one, right, Loki?
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I just wish I had something to show right now. It's just redoing the engine 3 or 4 times already. It's just, but the great part though is when I was kind of learning, and I'm still learning because I'm just kind of teaching myself everything. I just started in March to actually start working on a game idea, but just trying to do the hard. I have just trying to skip doing it the hard way, and then end up having to learn to do it the hard way, which is a good way to learn things, I guess.
Yep. Oh, it's always good. It's a constant learning experience. I mean, you never know all the answers, and there's always new ways to do things, and it's really exciting to try to solve problems dynamically.
Sometimes you even find old ways to do things. I found that especially in the days of mobile, some of my knowledge about how PlayStation 1 games cut corners is actually useful, because those same corners can be cut on mobile and give you great looking visuals with less performance. And so I mean there's a lot to learn. You've started in March, and you're going to, as Phil said, you never run out. We haven't run out yet. I learn a new thing every day making games, at least one thing every day. And that's not an exaggeration by any stretch of the imagination. And sometimes it's really simple stuff too. Like occasionally someone will be watching my show and point out a feature in Unity that I didn't even know was there. And I'm just like, wow, that saves me 20 minutes every time that I would normally have to do it this other way, that I had already figured out because I just didn't know that this was built in. I'm sorry that I'm not giving concrete examples here, but I'm sure that you've run into this yourself in the short time that you've been working, where you find a way to do something and it totally works and it's fine. And it doesn't have really many disadvantages or anything, but then you find out later you could have done the same thing in like one line of code, and even less worry, and it's a little bit more efficient and stuff. That being said, like the super important thing to remember, and this is something that where I differ from a lot of teachers and stuff, where they're like, you need to learn the right way to do things. There's a million right ways to do anything in game development. Like there's a million. This is not an exaggeration, and there's a few that are terrible, and there's a few that are awesome, and there's everything else that's in between. And the thing is, most of the in-between stuff will do what you need it to do. So my rule is, if it works, use it. Especially when you're learning. Just don't, if you have a solution to the problem, don't worry that it's the best solution. I have a lot of people who they're like, did I do this right? And they've done it totally right. It's just, and they're like, but is there a more efficient way to use it? And my answer is always, yes, there's always a more efficient way to do it. But what yours does is efficient enough and it works. And that's the most important part.
Yeah, what I mean needs to be important is you can always optimize later on. If you've encountered a situation where, the game's running like terribly because of this, the way that I've implemented this thing, well, you can always go back and refactor it into a way that's using a different solution to the problem. Like you can always optimize later on.
This is great to listen to, but for me, I've got to admit, my knowledge of game making is so. I mean, like I used to be able to make stuff in ZZT, like that game was awesome. I used to use that, and maybe Commodore 64 Basic back in the day.
All right.
But okay, let's say
I love Commodore 64. We can talk basic all day.
God, that system was so flippin' amazing and kind of ahead of its time in many ways. But anyway, let's say I want to make a game. So I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna download Unity. I don't have a whole lot of programming experience except maybe like 10 print. Rob is awesome. 20 go to 10, right? So I have very little programming experience. So now what? Where is Word 1 in Chapter 1? Where do I start?
So we made a series actually specifically for this. It's called From Scratch to Published, and so it starts at episode -1, which is a strange episode number to start at. But the reason I did that is the first episode teaches you how to download, install Unity, and start using Unity. Episodes -1 and 0 are for how to set up your computer and how to like get an email address. And so we cover the most basic stuff you can possibly have. We talk about every single thing, and we go all the way up to the point where we actually publish on several stores, namely the Windows Store for both phone and PC, the iOS and Mac app stores, and the Android Play Store. And the thing is, so when you're watching this one, there's going to be points, especially if you're a fresh beginner, you haven't done much programming in a while, or maybe no programming whatsoever. There's going to be some stuff where you're going to just have to take it on faith what I'm saying. Like I try to explain things very thoroughly, but sometimes in the effort to just get the next section done, I have to just say, here's the code, here's what we're doing. I try to explain it, but it's not going to click at first, and so you got to just work with it. I would say it's a great place to start, but don't stop there. Like it's not going to teach you everything you need to know. It's going to teach you enough that you can get started. And from there you'll start forming questions and start answering your questions yourself, and you'll be able to kind of figure out how these things actually work. The important thing is on the series, because we start from scratch, we start literally on a PC that doesn't have Unity installed or any program installed. We show installing Unity. We show using Unity. We show installing source control. We show how to use source control stuff. Most people don't even know what source control is, and most people don't use it. And this is terrible. People should be using it. What source control is basically a backup system / collaboration system, so that when you make changes to the project, everyone else working on the project gets those changes. And more importantly, if you make a change and something's wrong, you can go back later and be like, hey, that change was wrong. We're going to go back to the way that it was before. And it keeps that history of everything that you've done. And that way, mistakes are less costly. What's fun about games versus pretty much any other industry is there's the only cost involved in making them effectively once you have the tools, which the tools are free now, is the cost of time. So the worst mistakes in the world that you can make will only cost you time. They will never cost you manufacturing resources. You will never have to like replace things because you did something wrong in code. Well, okay.
Yeah, I mean, if you drop your iPhone on the floor,
well,
it's like
yeah,
your test device.
There's little problems like that, but I mean, it's from the physical world. It's not from the digital world that these problems are occurring. And so like mistakes should be embraced. Like you really do learn from mistakes, and so don't feel bad when something doesn't work right. Feel good when you make it work right afterwards. And so from scratch to publish will give you probably the best kind of overview front to back of game development using Unity, and then you can start to get more specific on videos and by downloading text content or using assets from the asset store to try and figure out the rest of the way how things work. Remember, there's always more to learn. There's always tricks that I don't know all the tricks. I try to teach as many tricks as I know. When I find a new trick, I try to tell people about it. But I will never know everything, and no one will. But try to know as much as you can and get into it, and I know you will enjoy it.
All right, I'm going to check that out. In fact, I even see YYR just linked that to episode -1 in our chat room over there at live.vognetwork.com. And if you are just joining us live, we are talking with Max, Phil, and Jeffrey, all from Cooking with Unity. And you can visit if you go to cookingwithunity.com, it'll just take you right to their YouTube channel that has everything there. Do you guys have any other, I don't know if you guys do Twitter feeds or Facebook or anything else we should be following you guys on?
Oh, I'm on Facebook or on Twitter. Twitter is Magma Lemur.
Awesome.
And I'm on Twitter as Drakfire. That's DRAKFYRE.
All right.
I'm also in the channel as Drakfire, so if you just spell my name in there.
Sounds good. And if you guys have questions, wait, there's three of you.
Wait, am I in the channel out there?
There's 3 of us, but I don't think Jeffrey has a Twitter.
No, I don't have a Twitter.
All right, that's all right. That's all right. Dark Sakura has a Twitter, but she doesn't ever use it. So I tag her in things.
I use it sometimes.
She'll reply to it like a month later.
And I'll complain about Pinkberry being closed 10 minutes early.
Yeah, why did you tag me in this? All right, anyway. Awesome.
Trying.
Loki, I want to go to you because surely you've got some things you want to ask these guys.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know. The one general question. First off, I was going to mention, they do have a Patreon as well. So there's some cool stuff that you get access to. Like they have a repo with some cool code and stuff in there that you can check out. And so definitely go check that out. Support them if you can. The other thing I was going to say is, now I know you guys have done quite a few different types of games in the past as different projects and stuff. Looking forward, what are some different types of games that you're looking to tackle in future projects?
Well, I know for one, I'm working very close with Justin Moravitz on Vanguard V, and I really hope that we get funding for that project because that's going to be awesome. Justin is trying to start a studio that's VR centric, and I think that's important. I do think that that's actually ultimately where the games industry is going to move towards is virtual reality. I'm not saying that we're going to get rid of TVs. I think that's silly to think that. I don't think we're going to be getting rid of tablets or anything, but we're going to be adding VR to the mix. And I think that the people who have been playing games the longest are going to be very interested in seeing what actually comes to pass with virtual reality. So I would say that in my future, at least, what I'm hoping for is to get to work on more virtual reality related games and projects. It's an interesting challenge because you have the physical aspect. You have you don't want to give people whiplash when they're playing your game. You don't want people to get motion sickness. And although I do think motion sickness is going to be less of an issue as people get their sea legs, so to speak. Just like how people forget, but when the games first started, just games scrolling left to right would make some people sick. And that now you would never even worry about that. You would just scroll the game however fast you want left and right. You can jiggle it back and forth, and no one's going to get sick. And it'll be that way for VR at some point. So
cool.
All right, well, speaking of VR, I see in our chat room, let's see, Bobby Blackwolf says, I demoed Vanguard V at a recent VR meetup with the KOR FX vest. Bobby, by the way, is our guy on the network that is really into this VR stuff. So
yeah, he wants to know when the Proton Pulse talk is starting.
Well, Proton Pulse is available on Google Cardboard right now. Go get it. Go get a cardboard and go download it. Full game's available. So yeah, I mean,
I did just see that they just released the cardboard SDK for Unity. I just saw.
Yeah. We've had a beta version for a while, and actually, I think it's been publicly available too. But we've had some close interaction with Google, which has been great. So.
Speaking of Bobby, there's always a really funny debate that you and him have, Loki, going back and forth when you first got into programming. So I don't think there really is a right or wrong answer, but I thought I would consult the experts here for the Cooking with Unity and ask this: when we talk about your very first project, I'm going to start my first project and my first game. In your opinion, do you think it's better to build clones of existing games, or to just, you know what, I'm going to do my own thing, do your own thing?
This is a really, really good question.
Yeah.
Go. You want to
yeah. I mean, my first project ended up being that little game Robot Alone that I made, and that's only on iOS. Unfortunately, I still haven't gotten around to porting it to anything else. Even though it takes like no time and effort, I just need to boot up the project. Apparently, I'm too lazy to do that. It was my first game, and it's basically a clone of Puro 2 from WarioWare, the first WarioWare game for the Game Boy Advance. It's a very small mini game there, but it was something that's small in scope that I knew how it functioned. And I think it's very important to take something that you kind of understand how it works and just make something simple. And once you make that simple thing work, just step up the complexity a little bit more. Like starting with Pong is not necessarily bad, or Space Invaders, something like that, something small and simple that you know kind of mechanically how it works, so you can kind of just get a feel for what you need to implement.
Yeah, and on the show we model our episodes based on genres, and we try to basically make it based on another game that's similar in that genre. Our very first episodes were, actually my very first episodes, it was before we had multiple people on the show, was Space Invaders, and I believe Space Invaders is probably the best place to start. And not necessarily on my show, because it's terrible. I had no showmanship or anything back then. But some people still say they like the episodes. But I'd say starting with Space Invaders is good because it teaches you a lot of the basics about game development. It teaches you how to make bullets happen. That's a very common thing. How to spawn something and make it move on the screen. It teaches you movement. And it teaches you how to create and destroy things on the screen that you're destroying, and all those things are really important in games. Pong is a really good example as well, except for it doesn't really teach. It teaches very basic instantiation and destruction. There's only one object. I like Space Invaders because there's a few more objects to work with, so it feels like there's something to sink your teeth into. As far as to whether everyone should do this, what I mainly want to say is it probably doesn't matter that much as long as you have a really clear idea in your head what you're making, whether you duplicate something that's existing or if you go with your own design.
Yeah, small scope.
But the scope is important. So like if your dream project is, and I know a lot of people have this, and I'm not dissing the dreams here. If your dream project is a MMO where you can do real-time combat, and wherever you strike the shield on the opponent is exactly where the damage happens, and there's a damage model for, like, you have this like pages and pages and pages. Don't start with that game. Please don't start with that game. Even if your high concept starts with is a multiplayer game, don't start with that game. Start with a single player game. If you do want to work towards your dream project though, start with a small project that represents a portion of your larger project, and then just keep doing that, and then build them together. And what I mean by that is, honestly, a really good example, I think, is the Metal Gear series. If you've ever played Metal Gear Solid, Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake, the MSX version. It's on the anniversary collection and stuff. It's the last 2D game before they went to 3D. If you play through that game, you'll see that pretty much everything that happens in that game happened in Metal Gear Solid later in 3D. Even smoking to display lasers and go through them, that's in that game first. Crawling under tanks is in that game first. Pretty much every single interaction, all the elevator interactions, all of the communication between characters, all the codec stuff was in that game first. And that game's a 2D game. And so he had tried this formula already before they moved it to 3D, before they did something that was groundbreaking. And Metal Gear Solid was truly groundbreaking for the time. And I think that company still just does amazing work. I love Kojima's work. But so think about it from a perspective of make the like simple version of your game. Do stepping stones. And then once you have the simple version, you can kind of already work some of the problems out, and then you can make a slightly more complex version. And then before you know it, you'll be working on the networked multiplayer, massively multiplayer online version of your game.
I mean, it's all about iterations upon your development, basically. Like, yeah, just start with something simple. You know, like Metal Gear maybe didn't originally have like pressing up against a wall in the first version, so they added it in the second one, so you could start hiding around corners, and so on and so forth. And they just kept going with these ideas, and that's how you get these really complicated games. Is you start off simple and just kind of keep iterating ideas and adding functionality to things.
All right, well, to be fair to Bobby, he is saying in chat room, I stressed more something that was small in scope, not necessarily a full clone, but that seems to definitely be in line with the message you guys are saying, is that if you want to make this gigantic dream game MMO, focus on that one little part first that maybe you can build into the larger game later. That
and yes, Black Wolf, I did say simple was boring. It's just not for me. That's not what I want to do, and that's fine. You know what? The fact that I didn't start with a simple project, it means I've learned so much more. So, but, and not to say that
would you say that even though you maybe didn't take on a simple project at first, Loki, you're building one piece at a time?
Yes, and I'm also not crazy enough to do an MMO. I don't want to ever do an MMO. Ever. Just, it sounds too crazy, so never.
You have no idea how many times that I've heard someone say, "Oh, I've got this really good game idea. I want to make it. I'm working on an MMO." Like that is usually,
it's surprisingly common.
It happens all the time.
Oh gosh. A Dungeon Buster in our chat says this is a great interview, lots of great advice. You know what? I agree. This has been so informative, and there's so much more information that I hope folks will go check out over on your YouTube channel, over at cookingwithunity.com. I do have to wrap things up here pretty soon because we've almost been on the line for a good half hour talking about making games. But before I let you go, I do always ask the people on our show, what games are you playing? You know, besides the ones you're making, what games are you playing these days? So can we go around the room there real quick with you three?
All right. 1, 2, 3. GTA 5.
Yeah, I've been playing GTA 5 on the PS4. That game is astounding.
No wonder you like these guys so much.
Listen, I don't need to love you guys anymore. I mean, seriously, it's
the scope of that game and like the amount of detail they've put into it is just unreal. They must have actually put human souls into that game to make it run the way it does. Like the amount of things they network. We've been playing it online together, and and it's just outstanding. I do not know how they network all this information.
Loki was like a top 100 player on GTA 4.
Yeah, I used to play multiplayer a lot on GTA 4, a lot, but. I've been playing a lot. You guys have it? Was it PlayStation 4? I know I saw a video. I don't remember if it's from PlayStation 4 or not. But yeah, we need to hook up online because I haven't played any online yet.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Jeffrey, what games have you been playing? Because you probably have a more diverse library than we do.
Well, I play a lot of Steam games. Lately, Gauntlet came out not too long ago, so I've been playing the 2014 Gauntlet. I still play Monaco from time to time. That's a really great stealth game.
Nice.
Monaco was fun. I actually really was impressed with that game when you started showing that at work. Jeffrey and I used to work together at a place called Play Habit that unfortunately is not around anymore. It was
when we
really
started
cool.
playing that at work.
The person who ran the place actually came up with the marketing. Well, effectively came up with the marketing slogan that's Sega used for so long of blast processing. He was actually the originator of that phrase.
Oh wow!
So that was pretty wild.
Of blast processing.
Yeah. I've got an interview with him. I need to post it online sometime. He said he's given me permission, but I want to make sure that it has impact when it happens. So,
well, you guys are awesome, and I love the message you guys carry that I want you to make a game. So I want to say something here real quick, and this is kind of a little bit of an announcement, but I want you guys to be able to hear this too, because I think you guys will really like this. And this is kind of like an ongoing theme that's been going on with our show and with Bobby's show and some of the other shows in the network. Is from talking about Loki's game and how he's been making a game to when Bobby did the Flappy Vogue project as kind of like a joke thing to when YYR did the OLR Dream game. You guys probably don't know about this, but we have a list of like dream games that we or things we mention in jest. Like that would be a great game. And one of our listeners, YYR, actually turned one of those into a game. It was called Pixel Shits. And
Oh, that's amazing.
it's something.
Love the name. Sold on the name.
He actually,
Yeah, I would buy that game.
you got to get the link in chat. It's great. It's 26. It's 2600 inspired. YYR, please post the link. It's a 2600 inspired game where you go around and you try to stop joggers from running through a park by taking a giant shit.
Oh, that's
But
amazing.
The genius mechanic is that when you run out, because a person can only do so much, there's a little taco cabana in the corner that you go to and refill your meter.
Oh, that's amazing.
That's where the game went from like LOL to just freaking genius.
I had to open my big mouth.
Yeah, it was great. That was something.
These are just that's what I love to see. It's like people making
I
things
love
like this.
silly creative games and stuff, and the sillier the better. I would want to just put a shout out there. Jake Kaufman Vert, he's a really great game composer. You probably know about him, but he made a game called Dick Hand that you probably don't know about. Definitely check that out.
That sounds inspired by Cards Against Humanity.
Well, the reason why I bring all this up is because we've been doing some talk behind the scenes, and I was talking with YYR and I was talking with Bobby, and we have decided that we want people to create things just like you guys do. We think there needs to be more voices out there making games, so we are going to host a VOG Jam, and that's Video Game Jam. That's VIDO Game Jam. So it's the VOG Jam, and we just want people to create something, damn it. So whether you have Unity and you're comfortable using Unity, you want to learn Unity, you can use that. But we're also going to encourage people, whatever canvas you want to use, do it. And if you only feel comfortable like making a level in Little Big Planet or using RPG Maker, then do that. We are going to be doing our own game jam here at VOG Network, and I'm going to give you all some more details in just a little bit. We're going to do it Iron Chef style, where there's going to be a mystery ingredient. And we will talk about how we're going to come up with that ingredient as a community next week. So
That is
P.S.
fantastic.
It's not pixel shit.
yeah, and is not Pixel Shits will not be the game. I'm sorry to say that's already been done.
I just want to say that's super awesome. Game jams are actually what got me started as it's not what got me started as a programmer, but what got me started as making games on my own.
It's what got you started in Unity too.
Yeah, it is what got me started in Unity, because actually we were going to use a different engine and it didn't work for collaboration, so I ended up using Unity because a friend of mine said it was really cool, and the rest is history. So yeah, no, game jams are awesome, and yeah, drop us an email. We'll promote and we'll be on it.
Heck yeah.
We love game jams.
That's awesome. And this is very important, too. I want to stress this because there might be some people that feel very overwhelmed. Any prizes that we do with this game jam, we will not be giving away prizes on quality. We will only be giving away prizes on participation. And I think that's very important because we want to make sure this is a very accessible thing for people to participate with. But anyway, I just thought, you guys helped inspire a lot of that conversation that happened behind the scenes this week. So, if you guys want people to make games, we want people to make games too, and we hope this all comes together and helps that happen.
All right, awesome.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, that's a great thing. Just get people to be creative, put things out there. It's really important.
Excellent. All right, one more time for everybody. The place to find the show, cookingwithunity.com, correct?
That's correct.
All right. And check it out. Maybe you want to get a jump on next week and start learning a little bit on Unity. Go to that episode -1 of starting from scratch, and
also check out Breakfast with Unity because that's also fun. I'm sad I can't make it anymore because now I have a job again. But when I didn't have a job, I catch it every morning, even when I had a job. And
it's just like
being
people
laid off.
It's just like people that can't be here Sunday night. That's why we have a podcast.
Exactly.
That's right. All right. All right, you guys, thank you so much for being on the show tonight, Max, Phil, and Jeffrey, and best of luck to you. You guys are doing great work in spreading knowledge out there and helping people create games. Please continue to do that for us.
Thank you. It was a pleasure to be on the show.
Yes,
right.
It was a pleasure. Thank you so much for having us on here.
You're welcome. Anytime, my friends. Take care.
All right, you as well.
All right.
Thanks again.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right, once again, that was Max, Phil, and Jeffrey with cookingwithunity.com. That was great. That was inspiring. That was like church.
I feel more inspired.
That was church right there. And you were inspired by Grand Theft Auto 5 talk, right?
Well, I knew they played Grand Theft Auto 5 because I saw the video. They had a really funny video. It was messing with the train in the tunnel and like parking cars and stuff there. I'm like, well, damn it, they played Grand Theft Auto 5 on PlayStation 4. Because you know what? Because I bought Grand Theft Auto 5 on PlayStation 4 because my old boss, He's like, yeah, I got a PlayStation 4. We got to get it when it comes out. I'm totally going to play. He said the same thing when he made me buy the PlayStation 3 version on top of the 360 one. That never fucking happened. So, yes, I'm always looking for people to play Grand Theft Auto 5 with because I am kind of getting sick of Lego Marvel Superheroes, to be honest.
All right, I want to give you guys a little more details on the game jam I talked about with the guys from Cooking with Unity. We will have all the details next week, but the contest is going to be called the VOG Jam. And in this case, VOG will mean video game, not necessarily what you're used to, but VOG Jam. And our little tagline with this is create something, damn it. Create something, damn it. I mean, maybe I'm not going to be comfortable with using Unity, but I know how to use Commodore 64 Basic. I know how to make programs in Little Big Planet. There's some other things I know how to use. So I am going to participate in this game jam. YYR has committed to participating in this game jam. Bobby Blackwolf will be participating in the game jam.
I'll participate.
Loki's participating in the game
I'll
jam.
just put my game on hold for now and this mix something. Yeah.
So this is what's going to happen. We're going to use the time-honored scientific method that's proved true in the past 12 years of Orange Lounge Radio, and that is listless. So next week on Orange Lounge Radio, we are going to do a listless segment to determine what the mystery ingredient for the game is going to be. And that is going to be basically I would say a title, but I don't want to say that title has to be the name of your game. For example...
It should be just like because I don't know, like a theme. It should be the theme. There you go.
Exactly.
Theme.
So, for example, let's say we were to go over to the Orange Lounge Radio list of dream games, which we're not going to do. We're going to come up with something new. But just as an example, let's say I go to the OLR Dream Games page and I decide that Puzzle Sluts is going to be the theme, and we're not going to throw something that adult at you, but Puzzle Sluts ends up being the theme. Then you would have to make your game or your level or whatever it is somehow incorporating puzzle sluts into it. And whether that's just something that kind of happens on the side or whether that's the focus. So it's just like cooking, right? Just like those guys cook with Unity. This is the mystery ingredient. So what is that theme going to be? We want to take suggestions from you guys, even though usually with Listless, it is what Dark Sakura, myself, and Loki ultimately decide that goes into the pot. We want to take your suggestions. So if you have a suggestion, you can do one of two things. You can email us, participate at orangeloungeradio.com, and make sure that subject line says Game Jam, and then tell us what is the mystery ingredient you believe should be included in the Game Jam. Or you can comment on the posting of this show over at vognetwork.com. Just comment, and that way the little thumbs up and thumbs down will tell us what we ought to think of using for the theme in Listless next week. So we'll be choosing that mystery ingredient. You will have over the holidays until the end of January to submit your project. And if you need help hosting even, let's say you create a project in Unity, but you have nowhere to put it, Bobby Blackwolf has offered help. So at VOG Network, we can actually post some of those creations for you guys over at VOG Network if you need a place. That's not required, though. If you post something on your own site, no. We just want to give you the tools. We don't want anybody to say, well, I would have participated, but I didn't have a place to host it. No. We're going to solve some of those problems for you.
Mega.com or whatever it is nowadays. Mega something now.
So there you go. I do want to say one quick, very important thing with the themes, because we got to get back to the news because we're running really long tonight. With the themes, please, nothing that is already copyrighted. Keep that in mind.
Nothing infringing. Please don't make a Mario game.
Exactly. So we can't do like Garrus does calibrations cannot be the game theme because Garrus is a character.
But you can make that game for me personally.
So keep that in mind. We are not out to make sequels. It has to be an original
calibrating
idea.
With Garrus.
I'm sure there's already the Shakarian calibrator out there somewhere.
I'm sure there is. Brad from Paw Culture says, what about collaborations? I'm always going to refer to the golden rule of the Game Jam, which is create something, damn it. So if the only way you're going to be able to create something is to work with somebody else, then I'm going to say yes. Create something, damn it. That's the golden rule I'm going to refer to throughout the Game Jam. So partner up? Yes. Just create something, damn it. All right. So we'll have more information. We're going to have a big prize pool. There will be no grading done on quality. That is ultimately up to the community. If one of these games goes viral, that is the community that makes that happen. But we will be giving out prizes based on participation. We have accumulated crap ton of prizes throughout the year.
Yeah.
So I don't want to say, because I don't know how many participations we'll get. I want to say I almost want to say everybody who participates will get something, but then I go, well, that's only allowing for like 20 people. If we get like 200 submissions, which would be amazing.
There's boxes.
I know, right? So I will say this. We are going to try. Well, we do know this. We have the loot system on vognetwork.com. For sure, 100%, everybody will get exclusive loot on vognetwork.com. Even though it's virtual, you'll at least get that little badge of honor that you participated in the game jam, the first one, which we hope of many.
Now, I have
a
question too. Since I totally don't even realize this, is there a way to see what loot other people have on their profiles?
Yeah, click on their little profile.
Already 100% better than PlayStation 3 and PlayStation Home promised with the trophies. So there you go. 100% better.
All right. We got to get back to some news. More info on the Game Jam next week, but submit your ideas. But we got to run through the news. And I'm going to take this at a little bit of an accelerated pace just because this first part of the show is running really long. Sure. So let's talk quickly about Street Fighter V. Street Fighter V, more news is coming out about Street Fighter V. And Charlie has been revealed as a character that will be in Street Fighter V. Charlie was not in Street Fighter 4, if I recall.
He have the pointy hair.
But Charlie was in, what was it, Alpha? Alpha 3?
It was one of the Alpha games.
Yeah, it was one of the Alpha games.
In Alpha and Alpha 2 and Alpha 3.
So they've modernized him a little bit, it looks like, for this game, because we don't see an awful lot of them. We only see just kind of,
Charlie wasn't in, Cross Tekken, was he?
I don't think so. But, yeah, so Charlie was announced for Street Fighter V, which, by the way, showed off the first footage of the gameplay. And literally, it was like a splash screen that was press start, and then it went right into a Ryu versus Chun-Li battle.
I thought that was pretty funny.
What? Oh, just...
Did you watch the whole thing?
The reactions of the guys going, oh my god, it's got the... Oh my god!
No, not that. There's a part in it, where Ryu knocks Chun-Li in, at the end of one of the rounds. He knocks her into a wall in a kitchen, and a bowl of noodles falls on her head. And it stays there for the whole next round. There's a bowl of noodles on her head. It's hilarious.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, people...
Details. I love that.
Details. It's great. So people getting excited at that first footage of Street Fighter V. And, there's a revenge bar and an EX bar. And I noticed that, speaking of getting knocked through the wall, then that next stage started in the middle of the room they were in. So it's kind of neat how those environments are coming into play as well. So... I think we'll be having Street Fighter V news a lot. I mean, they could announce a character a week probably leading up to the release. We'll see. Dark Soccer, what do you have for us?
I have some stuff. Specifically something about Borderlands. There's going to be a Borderlands Remastered. Apparently, this was information released from the Australian Age Rating Board. They didn't actually say exactly what Borderlands it is, but there's going to be a Borderlands Remastered Edition with an MA 15 plus rating, supposed to be on Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and likely PC. The thought is that it's going to, well, at least this is speculation, that it's going to be the original one. But honestly...
I think it's all three, if I were to guess.
See, that would be... really, I mean, I don't think it would be that hard really to update graphics wise. And
well, yeah, they don't have to do anything graphics wise because it's on PC, so they already have the high res graphics. They just redo the engine for console and port it over.
Probably want to have maybe more smoothing for the PC iteration.
We talked a lot last week about that whole Final Fantasy VII reveal, which is a PC port on the PS4. So we know this is an outlet that a lot of people are using.
Yeah. So I'd say if you don't have the games yet, just keep your eyes open. There's, of course, not exactly a release date on this. This is just coming from the Australian Ratings Board, but it's something to think about.
Yeah. It's not the only game that's looking like this either. Later in the show, we have news of another game. So this seems to could be a theme where a lot of the PS3 classics, so to speak, end up getting remade for
not
PS4.
Even necessarily classics. I mean, this year alone, we've had Tomb Raider, Sleeping Dogs. They had, it's a PC port, but Shadow Warrior came over. Saints Row 4 and Gat Out of Hell is going to be in January, which I'm totally picking that up again. I own it on 4 systems already, but I'll buy it again, even though I really didn't care for 4 too much. But whatever. Grand Theft Auto 5, but hell, I'll buy that 4 times if I need to. I'll buy it on PC when it comes out again.
When you love something enough, Loki.
Exactly, you'll buy Multiple copies.
Now you understand. Okay, next time you ask me, why do you own the Mass Effect trilogy 5 different times?
Okay, well, that's a little different. Okay, let's talk about how that's different. One, Grand Theft Auto 5 on PlayStation 4 is a significant upgrade of the Grand Theft Auto. The only reason I bought it on the other two systems in the past was because I was going to play it on Xbox, but then my boss wanted to play it on PS3, and he promised that we would play this game multiple times on PS3, and we'd just be playing all the time because we played tons of Grand Theft Auto 4, and that never happened. That's why I bought it on 3 systems.
Fine.
Otherwise, it would have been 2 systems. And to be fair, I've sold back my copies on the other systems. So.
But if Mass Effect Trilogy ends up being one of those games that ends up on PS4 as well,
I know you'll be buying it.
I'm doing it.
And I guarantee you, it will at some point, right before Mass Effect 4 comes out or whatever they're going to call it.
Loki promised, you guys. Loki promised. All right. Let's travel around the world and check out some games we do know are coming out to a store near you, although I imagine for most of the world, not much, right, Loki?
I wasn't going to say I haven't even looked at it yet, but I'm going to go out on a limb here and say I don't think anything's coming out this week. In fact, I'm going to say nothing's coming out this week.
I think digitally, you get Tetris. But
digitally, there's going to be stuff coming out, but I'm not talking digital. I'm talking, physical
retail
releases, and there is not a thing coming out. In fact, I would be willing to bet that you won't see anything until January.
Well, it is that slow time of the year. But going to Japan, it's a little bit different. They still are trickling out a few games on some of the systems, including on the PlayStation 4, a treasure box edition of Nobunaga no Yabo Online, Kasuke no Shu. Also, that's out on the 17th. And then on the 18th, we have Anoko wa Ore Kara Hanarienai comes out there on the PlayStation 4. On the Xbox One, Chaos Child in regular and limited edition on December 18th.
You know what? There was one thing. I'm sorry.
Well, God damn it, Loki.
Sorry. Real quick.
How dare you?
Guilty Gear XRD sign. That is coming out on PlayStation 4, PlayStation 3. That is the only thing, though. Nothing else.
There are some Guilty Gear fans out there.
There are.
All right, going over to the PlayStation 3, Godzilla comes out on December the 18th, as well as Gundam Breaker 2 comes out, and that's you can get that as regular or an Omochidashi pack. And that's also available with Chinese subs if you want that particular edition is available. That's on the PlayStation 3 this week. On the Wii U this week, Sonic Toon, Taiko no Hihu. And I believe that is the same thing as the Sonic... What was it called here? We just got it. The Sonic...
Sonic Boom?
Sonic Boom, yeah.
Sonic Boom.
yeah, there's a lot of people saying Sonic Boo to that. There's also a Pikachu classic controller coming out on the 20th. That's a third party, but it's Pikachu and it's a controller. It's adorable. On the Vita this week, Gundam Breaker 2 makes its release there on the 18th, as well as Root Rex and Shin Jijigen Game Neptune Rebirth 3V Century in regular and limited edition. That is from the Reformed Compile.
Is that
Compile.
Was it Hyperdimension Neptunia? It sounds like
I think it is. But on the Nintendo 3DS this week, actually, believe it or not, huge week on the 3DS because not only do you have Sonic Toon Island Adventure there, Sega 3D Fukuku Archives, which is the Sega 3D Classics redone, but this week on the Nintendo 3DS, Final Fantasy Explorers. That's right. Final Fantasy meets Monster Hunter is releasing this week on the 18th.
That'd be so awesome if the 3DS was region free, but it's not.
No, but I know people with Japanese 3DSs that'll be getting it anyway because they crazy. And I mean that in the best possible way. All right, Dark Soccer, how about the UK?
There is an entirety of one thing and one thing only. Baldur's Gate 2 Enhanced Edition for Android.
Nice.
That's it.
There it is. All right, just a couple more stories for you guys, and then the classic game of the week. Loki.
All right. So, Sega is trying to figure out how to adapt their properties into other forms of media and entertainment, including TV. I'm hoping that the fact that they're hiring this media exec means we're going to get some better stuff other than Sonic Boom, because I don't know if that new cartoon's any good, from what I hear. But apparently, even Choflin is set to adapt some of their old franchises into, television, web series, you name it, movies. They're saying adaptions of Altered Beast, Crazy Taxi, Shinobi, Streets of Rage, and other titles. I can only think, we've seen Sonic so far, and I'm just hoping that they reboot that at some point that actually works for them. But man, I would like to see some of those old
Shenmue. Come on, Lucky Hit hits the big screen.
As weird as it would be, I would love to see like a Moonwalker series or something like that. Even though I understand that's based off of the Moonwalker film, I'd still love to see that as a spin-off series. Or Space Channel 5. Hello.
Heck yeah, that's what Fifth Dream in our chat says. Space Channel 5, the series. YYR in chat says, "Go home, Sega. You're drunk."
Or can we do like some, not to...
I fear that Crazy Taxi will be it. It's going to be like really like just like secondhand embarrassment.
Or can we do like something with like all the Dreamcast, characters and stuff, and like a sort of Captain N type of environment, but not stupid? Can we do something like that? Have Ooh La La and maybe get the nameless characters from Crazy Taxi or whatever, and hell, let's throw in some what was it? I don't know, other series that they had on Dreamcast.
A Fifth Dream in chat over at live.vognetwork.com suggests Hatsune Miku, the animated series. Now, that one I could actually see happening because Hatsune Miku is a pretty big deal for Sega, so especially in overseas. So
yeah. I don't know, maybe a Daytona.
do.
Don't even.
All right. Well, a lot of people
cry.
A lot of people on the internet saying "don't even" to this character that was announced for Tekken 7, and this was a character kind of like I guess you could say like a cosplay fangirl, kitty girl. The name was Lucky Chloe, was the character, unveiled during a live stream celebrating the 20th anniversary of the Tekken franchise. She's wearing pink cat ears and like a pink like cat paws thing, and she's got on like a little black tutu with a tail that actually kind of looks like a cat. So, I mean, she looks just like a cute, anime girl that could show up in the Tekken series, right?
Maybe she works at a cat girl cafe.
Perhaps. But they announced Lucky Chloe for Tekken, and all of a sudden, a lot of negativity on the internet, get out. But negativity hit the internet, and the series producer Katsuhiro Harada was alerted to a thread on NeoGAF where a bunch of people were saying things like, "God, I hate her already." But first off, why did you go to NeoGAF?
I know, that's what I was going to say, but it's NeoGAF. They hate everything.
Sorry, not sorry. I'm just keeping it real, you guys. But anyway, I'm sure Twitter was no better. Speaking of Twitter, Harada ended up tweeting out, quote, "Are you Western, only one bulletin board? Hello, small world. I'll make muscular and skinhead character for you." Probably in reference to, how the stereotypes of American
I could see the meme already. They have, the Heath Ledger Joker sitting there, Felicia, Catgirl Felicia and Darkstalkers, no one blinks an eye, but,
Bye, Felicia. All right, anyway, so he went on to say that, American fans shouldn't be upset because Chloe is just one of the game's many characters, which, if I recall, involve a fighting panda bear and
a wooden dummy,
kangaroo,
a kangaroo,
and Gon,
like
a dinosaur.
Give me a fucking break. This is Tekken, people.
And Yoshimitsu. I mean, come on.
If a cat girl wants to cat girl, then let her cat girl.
Here's the thing that I have to say. It's his fucking game. He can put whoever the hell he wants in it. If you don't like that character, don't play as that character. I don't really care for Dalzim. I don't play as Dalzim. Not that I hate the character itself, it's just I don't like the way it controls.
Nobody balked when Dead or Alive had a Teletubby.
I just
Dead or Alive had a Teletubby?
And just an encouragement.
What's his face wore the Teletubby outfit? The silver.
Since we are talking about game creation and game creators a lot tonight with that special theme, and I should have asked the guys from Cooking with Unity about this. Here's a tip from me to the guy here, producer of the Tekken series. Don't read the comments. Do not ever, ever, ever read the comments. Don't read them. Don't let NeoGAF influence your game. Don't let any website influence your game like that. Just make a good game that you love, and that is what's most important.
I'm not even going to get into any of this. So, but yes, I wholeheartedly agree. You know, if you're making a diverse set of characters, that's fine. This is the character you want to make, then that's cool. They have other characters. I don't think Tekken suffers from non-diverse characters. They have plenty of diversity in characters and species and sex orientation, whatever. It's that's not even a complaint of that series. It could be Dead or Alive. I mean, that's, a little bit worse.
Rama in our chat room over at live.vognetwork.com says, I'm amused at the cosplay fandom who got mad because they assumed Lucky Chloe was based off of Jessica Nigri. I hope I said the name right. I don't even know who she is.
She's the one that did the Lollipop Chainsaw cosplay, and she's done other stuff too.
Sorry.
I believe that she's also the one, though, who did... I may be getting her confused, but she also did cosplay in blackface.
At the end of the... at the end of the day, if this was inspired by a real-life person or whatever, so what? So what? I mean, God, they put that one girl in Mass Effect...
Law? Hello?
Yeah, right?
Law? I mean...
And
he's totally original, not inspired by anybody named Bruce Lee.
They put that one IGN girl in Mass Effect 3, and it didn't ruin the game.
Jessica
It might not have been her, by the way.
What's that?
I might be confusing her with somebody else.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, don't start rumors here. I'm just kidding.
No, Rama told me who it was. But
right.
Anyway.
You know who I'd want to see a fighting game done by?
Rama clarifies that wasn't her. It's
I know.
Thing for us to
it
put
was
out.
somebody else, though, that looks very similar to her.
I would love to see a fighting game done by Platinum Games. That would be fucking amazing with all their character designs.
You never know.
Awesome.
All right, let's travel back to a time when things were more simple, because we're gonna go back to a time when, you know what, who knows what it looks like, because it's a big square box moving around your television. All right, maybe we're not talking about a game that old this week, but we are going to take a trip to the vault, where Darkstalker is going to open up the vault and find a game that she thinks, hey, you should show a little respect to the games that came before you. This is the classic game of the week for this week. Darkstalker, what'd you pick?
Well, my whole logic behind this was trying to find a game that was 10 years old, that people would go, holy shit, that's 10 years old? So I picked Silent Hill 4: The Room.
Holy shit, that's 10 years old?
Yes, it is. At any rate, this one was published by Konami, of course, developed by Team Silent. It came out in Japan in June 2004 and in North America and Europe in September. This was at my second or third E3. And they had the whole big kitchen set up and everything. It was really awesome. I have pictures of it somewhere. But this one, instead of being set specifically in Silent Hill, is set in a town called South Ashfield, and it follows this dude named Harry Townsend around. He's locked in his apartment, and he finds different ways to escape through his bathroom, through other ways, and goes through all these different craziness where he's chasing an undead serial killer named Walter. Because Walter is totally a serial killer's name, don't you think?
A little bit, yeah.
So basically, you've got the one save point, which is his room. The room will restore his health, but there are hauntings that happen in the room during the second part of the game. Whatever you do, don't get the Robbie the Rabbit and take him back to your house. Seriously, it will fuck you up. He also is spending the second half of the game helping his neighbor Eileen, who she has to go around with him. She takes damage as she gets possessed over and over again, and so basically however much damage that she takes directly affects the ending that you get. So it basically, though, just the you beat shit up, you can shoot things, you've got different talismans as well that can protect you from damage, can protect your room from being haunted, and you can charge your melee attacks, so you can actually do more damage. You also have unkillable ghosts that are Walter Sullivan's victims, and the ghost can hurt you and can only be nullified by 2 items. And you can also exercise hauntings from your apartment with those same items. And you can knock down ghosts. It's basically 2 bullets that will knock them down, or you pin them permanently with a sword. So there are, certain ways you can kill things. So there's also another character that actually you see. I don't remember how many. Well, I'm sure everyone remembers the remakes of the songs they did for DDR from this game, but one of the characters who dies early on in the game is in the beginning. Is in the video with Cynthia. But I mean, the game it's weird. It's probably one of the last of the good Silent Hill games. And then, of course, don't worry, you also get the special endings. Well, actually, in this one, actually, I'm wrong. This one does not have the UFO ending.
I was going to say, I thought it...
Yeah, this one didn't have the UFO.
did.
It's the first one that didn't have the UFO ending, I think.
Bummer.
You get the... You have 4 endings. There's Mother, Eileen's death, the 21 Sacraments, and... Hold on, because I know I've never gotten the dog in... not the dog, but the UFO ending myself. Yeah, there's no UFO ending.
There's not a disco party ending or anything like that?
No, there should be a UFO ending. They all have
They
UFO
should have
endings.
dog ending. And
PT
everything.
better have a dog ending.
I know, right? There's actually a picture online of how they set up the whole kitchen thing, which it's not a very good picture. I'll have to find a better one for the chat room. But the soundtrack, though, it's just really amazing, of course, like all the Silent Hill soundtracks that were done by Yamaoka. There was the Japanese soundtrack had a second disc that had music done by Yamaoka done to reading of traditional Japanese stories, and then the American version had 13 exclusive tracks and remixes. And then there was Your Reign that was redone for DDR, and there was also a UMD out called the Silent Hill Experience. Track 22 was also called No Way to Escape, and it was a special recording for the soundtrack. So, there you go. I have picked Silent Hill for the room.
All right.
Probably, like I said, one of the last good Silent Hill games.
I haven't played it since the game first came out.
I think I still have your copy.
Yeah. On what, Xbox, right? Regular Xbox? I think so.
No, I thought it was, yeah, it was Xbox.
No, I had it on Xbox, yeah. I remember playing the game when I was living with Loki. It must have been 10 years ago. I was living with Loki, and I got so scared at one part, and Loki looks over and goes, "What the hell is going on over there? Shut up."
I didn't say
Yes,
that.
you did. Yes, you did.
Why would I say that? I would never tell you to shut up.
All right,
I may have inquired what's going
You
on.
did. All right, walking into studio, a connoisseur of the Silent Hill series, a friend of the show, Shane Alinko is here in studio with us.
So I have to talk about this for a second.
Sure,
it's
please
Silent
do.
Hill.
Is there a dog ending, yes or no?
No, it only has 4 endings.
Why not?
Yeah.
Because they didn't put one in there.
Rude.
Wait.
And that was the start
That's
of the
what
downfall of the
That's
series.
what I should have done as the fortune cookie. You go bark, bark, bark,
All right,
bark,
anyway,
bark,
So
bark.
Shane,
I
what do you wanna say?
heard their talk of Your Reign being in DDR. Now it did not get mentioned, at least by the time I got up, that there is another Silent Hill 4 song in DDR. Did you guys talk about that?
I don't think so.
The-
No, Shane,
no,
we
that
didn't.
was
Okay.
the one from 3.
No, not in PS2 DDR. Ultramix 2 has from the US CD sampler the remix of Waverer from because that was all my doing, and then they did a really bad cut of it. So I feel bad in a way, but I do not feel that bad because I like that song.
So you pushed to get that song in the game, and then
I'm the only one that said anything about that song, and they brought it into the game.
Yay, Shane.
Well, there you go.
Yes,
So who
so-
knew you had a little piece of the classic game of the week? How does it make you feel to hear that Silent Hill 4 is 10 years old?
Really old because I remember that E3.
That was my first E3.
That was my first E3.
Also, remember we had the scoop on
We
that
did.
song.
We had the world premiere of Your Reign from DDR, and that was Shane who made that all happen. So that was.
And we had to talk over half of it for people recording it.
Yes, cool, because that was back in the day when people would do that. They would like record things they could hear. Like people were obsessed with DDR, so.
And then I got like a bajillion copies of the sampler because of Dan.
Yeah. So, and that's actually what happened is that Shane had an early print of that sampler, so that's how we were able to use it.
And I want to say that my love for that, because that's one of my favorite Silent Hills. I love 4. It's one of the scariest ones because I don't like Walter chasing me around. It's not fun. When that game came out in Japan, I used an import site to import that game overnight, weekend, just so I could have the CD that came with it for a car trip I was taking on that Saturday.
How much did that set you back?
Oh, the game I think itself at the time was maybe like 60 or 70, and it was the collector's edition, which made it a little more expensive. Pretty sure it was like 180 at that point to hear the CD.
You know what? I've done that.
You love what you love.
Because when Rival Schools, the evolution for Rival Schools came out, I had that shit. I paid $120 for that.
Wow.
All right. Well, we got to go to break, you guys, because we still have plenty of show coming up, and we're like 2 hours into the show. So we're gonna kind of skedaddle through part B, so we can get to your calls, your emails, and much more when we come back with more of Orange Lounge Radio right after this. Welcome back, everybody, to Orange Lounge Radio, live on this Sunday evening, December the 14th of 2014, the 579th episode of our show. We're running a little long tonight because we had an awesome interview with the guys from Cooking with Unity, and you know what? Can't complain. If that's going to hold us and make us run a little long, it's for damn good reason because, encouraging people to get out there and create and make games. It was a great interview, a great time. We are going to try to make up a little of the time here by running through some more news here with our rapid fire news. Loki.
Yes. So let's talk a little bit about free stuff, and this is awesome. Origin does these kind of free games for a while. They on the house, they call it, and they've been swapping out different games, and pretty much that's my entire Origin collection anyways. But SimCity 2000 is now up for grabs. So you can get that for free if you have the Origin client installed on your system, and check it out. And then I guess they said normally they're also offering, I guess, the $5 special edition. Oh, it was the $5 special edition that they were offering on the house. So pretty cool. So go check it out. Rather old SimCity game, and it's not a bad SimCity game, which is good. And then of course, with the popularity of Theatrhythm Final Fantasy, we are now going to be seeing Theatrhythm Dragon Quest as a next game coming out from Square Enix. Kind of along the same lines, except, now instead of music from the Final Fantasy series, you'll have music from the Dragon Quest series. And it's expected now to be coming out in Japan on the 3DS, March 26, 2015. They haven't said yet when it's coming over the West, but you better believe it probably will at some point.
Well, I assume some of the music will come from Dragon Quest X, which is a game we don't even have here yet. But I guess the Theatrhythm Curtain Call had some Final Fantasy games that weren't out here either yet, anyway, with the Type 0.
Right.
I don't know. I don't think it's as sure of a thing as you seem to think.
I think that they would bring it over here.
I hope so. If nothing else, just freaking make it a digital-only game or something. A bunch of people would still buy it.
Exactly. And then Final Fantasy 10 and 10-2 are getting another a port of the HD remaster. So I don't even know how much better it's going to look, but it's going to be coming now to PlayStation 4. And they said that it's going to be priced at $50. So next spring, PlayStation 4, Final Fantasy X, 10-2, almost pretty much a year since the last one was released on PlayStation 3. So I don't know. I'll check it out, I guess. They haven't really said what's going to be unique about it other than that there's going to be some system-exclusive features. Thanks. That's very vague of you.
I worry when they say system-exclusive features. That means share play and broadcasting on Twitch, because those are features that are built into the system. I really would take that to mean nothing more than just things that are on the PS4 that aren't on the PS3.
I think that they're just porting it. I don't think it's going to look any better.
I would not get your hopes up about this at all.
Yeah. And then
unless you have a PS4 and not a PS3, then get your hopes up.
And then finally, they've confirmed that the Final Fantasy 15 demo will be exclusive to day one copies of Type 0 HD. It will not be coming out separately. They're saying it's intended to be a special gift for those who purchase early. So pre-order that game if you want it, the demo. And they're saying that now, is that going to be coming to North America as well, or is that just the Japanese copies? Because I'm not really sure yet on that. But Final Fantasy 15, I guess, or I should say Final Fantasy Type O
it
HD.
Is North America as well, by the way.
March 17th, 2015. So lots of stuff to look forward to. And I may have to buy an early copy so I can play the demo. It looks good.
I'm gonna have to get that. I mean, I would have bought the game anyway, but for the demo, certainly that just cements it. So, all right. Well, moving on to some other quick news here. As far as expos and conventions go, GX3, which was once known as Gamer X3, GX3 has been dated for next year. This is now moving from a summer convention to a winter convention. We knew that was going to happen, but it is now dated December 11th through 13th, and they have a new venue. They have moved it out of San Francisco. It will now be in San Jose at the San Jose Marriott.
A little bit less of a is that less of a drive or more of a drive?
It's more of a drive, but quicker because of traffic.
And less of a cost, ideally.
Yeah, and it will actually, they're saying, they haven't said officially, but they're saying that the rooms will be like $100 cheaper a night this year. So that's already, which is funny. You know what's funny? If you go back and listen to some of the talk, I said on an earlier show when I was kind of summarizing GamerX, I said they really should think about moving it to San Jose, and they could have it. There's the convention center and all the hotels right there. Well, guess where the Marriott is? It's one of the hotels connected to the convention center. So I'd like to think I called it. Maybe I helped.
Yeah. See, I used to say like Santa Clara would have been a good place, but now that they built the Niners Stadium right next to it, that's probably not good anymore.
And you know, there are some people are very happy to hear it's moving to San Jose because it's closer to them. Some people where San Francisco is closer, not as happy to hear about it. I think at the end of the day, you know, you don't hear a lot of bad stuff about this con. By the way, disclosure or whatever or encouragement, VOG Network is a sponsor of GX3. We will have a table at the show. Myself and Dark Soccer are for sure going. I'm hoping Loki can go, depending on the situation.
We'll see. I have a year notice.
If just for one day, if nothing else.
I would like to go.
Yeah.
I haven't been to a con in, I don't know, a very long
time. Well, you'd have a good time here. So, again, it's December 11th through 13th at the San Jose Marriott. And tickets are available right now, and they have all different levels and platforms. Right now, the cheapest is $70. To $5.95. But if you really do want to go, Loki, let's talk off air because I have an opportunity for you. All right. That is that. So GX3, we'll see you there in December. Moving on to some more stories about The Witcher 3 is up next. Witcher 3 got delayed, and this is I think the second time this game has been delayed. It's been pushed back now from February to May 19th is the new date, and a big apology letter going up on thewitcher.com, the official site. You know, we owe you an apology. We set the release date too hastily. It's a hard lesson, one to take heart for the future. You know what?
Yeah, exactly. I'd rather you push it back like EA did with Dragon Age Inquisition and Battlefield and have it be a good game when it comes out than to put it out like Assassin's Creed. You know, we'll wait the extra 3 months.
I realize you're going to get shit from Twitter now, like, oh, you pushed it back again, can't make your deadline.
It doesn't matter.
You know what? But when the game comes out, if the game kicks a lot of ass, then people are going to shut the hell up about the delays and enjoy the game. Or Grand Theft Auto, right, Loki? That series never gets delayed.
Well, yeah, exactly. and it's not, and people aren't complaining because, well, they're just complaining because they don't get to play it as early as they'd like to. And that's really, that's not a bad thing.
All right, and lastly, it's your last chance to check out Afterburner Climax. Now, this game came out a little while ago, but it is going to be delisted from Xbox Live Arcade and PlayStation Network on Christmas Eve, December 24th. So if you were at all interested in the game, you might want to grab it because, again, it will be pulled on December 24th, and you will not be able to buy it. If you should accidentally delete the game or something, you can download it again. That won't be a problem, but this has to do with some of the license agreements between Sega and the aircraft makers of some of the planes that are in the game. Those license agreements are expiring, so much like Outrun got delisted and some other things that have licensed content and they get delisted.
It's fictional aircraft that sort of are like those aircraft.
Or just
fictional aircraft. That's why Ridge Racer was so cool, because they have fictional cars.
Or Punch-Out, when they just replaced Mike Tyson with Mr. Dream. It was easy. But anyway. All right, well, whatever. They got to do what they got to do. So Afterburner, if you want to get that, last chance. Dark Sakura.
We do have other news. There is something going to be on the Virtual Console only in Japan, and that is Vampire Hunter. I'm sorry. Vampire Killer, my apologies, which is the predecessor to the Castlevania series. So it was originally Akuma Joe Dracula, which we got as Vampire Killer over in the English-speaking countries. But it was a little bit more open-ended. So you should be seeing that coming out on the Wii U Virtual Console if you live in Japan on December 17th.
Which boo that it's not coming out here.
Get an MSX, yo.
Oh, okay. I'll just order one off, Japanese eBay. Yahoo Auctions or whatever they use over there.
Just go to US eBay. Also, Bravely Second will be released on April 23rd, and it comes with some neat stuff in the collector's edition. I super love the packaging. It's just black and white and gorgeous. It comes with a Pope Agnes figure, Bravely Default 200 Years Later, Shrine Maiden of the Wind Idea. You get an art book and a novel, a soundtrack on a data CD, a notebook, a Magnolia rubber stamp, and code for in-game content. So neat-o. And then, remember how I said the only thing coming out in Europe was Baldur's Gate 2 and for Android?
I do recall you saying that.
Well, this is actually Baldur's Gate 2 Enhanced Edition, going to be out on Linux, Android, and iOS on December 16th. And it's also going to have the update 1.3 that has bug fixes, better pathfinding, improved multiplayer, German and Spanish language support, with some other languages thrown in, increased font size, and more. And it will be $10. And that's it.
All right. Let's go to the Fugle question of the week.
It's Radio
Each week we visit Facebook and Google+. You slam that together, you get Fugle, and we ask a question of our communities. And tonight we wanted to know, we were talking about creation tonight. We knew that was going to be a theme of the show tonight. So we asked our audience, what's something you've created in the video game world? Did you program a small game or work on a large one? Maybe you made levels for a game of yours? What did you create? We also kind of put in there, if you really, really, really haven't made anything, A, we hope you start. B, what do you hope to create someday? So couple different questions there depending on your situation. Act Def starts us off on Google Plus saying, the closest I've been to video game programming has been translation. I haven't been directly involved in it, but I helped some friends with translations and editing. Hey, you know what? Important, very important. I wouldn't have got to play Final Fantasy V when I did if it hadn't been for some people translating the original Super Nintendo ROM. Translation didn't end up perfect, but at least it got me through the game. So translation, important role, makes the game more accessible to people. Reddertainment in chat saying, there's a book I put out a couple years ago that no one read called Volume 11. When I originally dreamed it up, it was supposed to be a stealth action game complete with long sections spent sneaking around and trying to avoid groups of people looking to kill you and all of your people. Since I have no visual artistic skill and coding is hard, Volume 11 became a book. So interesting, you had like a game idea that ultimately you poured into a book. Very interesting. Let's check out some of the answers over on Facebook. Raginator says, back in my elementary school days, I modded an edutainment typing game originally called Turtle Trot during the downtime at the end of computer class. I made it a very obscene pervy, renaming it Turtle Twat. And the game talked dirty to you and made poop and fart jokes. You all right over there, Dark Sakura?
Unexpected.
Unexpected
twat.
Oh, what? Raginator making a game out of poop and fart jokes is unexpected? I beg to differ.
No, I mean, the word twat to me is intensely hilarious. And whenever I hear it, I just...
Twat are you talking about? I can't hear you.
I thought you live on Twat Avenue.
All right.
No, that was the old one, sorry.
Anyway, one thing I wish to make is a new OLR dream game, a Mortal Kombat clone or parody featuring Wilford Brimley, the Golden Girls, Matlock, Angela Lansbury, etc.
Which I entitled in the chat room earlier as Smash TV Land.
I love it.
Or Golden Gladiators.
Golden Gladiators, love it. Monty Boggs says, in Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts, there was a mission to defend a statue from enemy planes for a set time. Instead of building a combative plane as most would, I created a giant cone cover with propellers to simply cover the statue and absorb all the damage. That game was fantastic at rewarding creativity. So kind of talking about a game there that has you create as part of the game mechanics. Fabrice mentions on Facebook, I programmed a version of the Tron Light Cycle game for a school project. I really want to pick up programming again, but don't know what to choose. There's so many programming languages. I have no idea where to start or which is the most useful. Well, I hope you got something out of tonight's show. I do have a dream game. I want to make a pure Sega arcade racer like Daytona, Sega Rally, and those awesome games. Well, surely he knows about that Kickstarter from a few months ago, right?
Yes, exactly. That looks pretty awesome.
Andy R. says, I did some Flash games in high school as part of my web design class. Pretty much all were clones of existing games. For example, one was a Mario clone where you played as Link. Nintendo ripped me off for NES Remix. Now, I know he said that comment very tongue-in-cheek, but it made me think of when people used to hack ROMs. Like, people put Zelda in Mario because they would hack the ROM and put the little picture of Link in there. Although I realize that's a questionable legality territory. The reality is people have done it, and some people got their start doing it. And, of course, somebody made, like, Super Penis Brothers where they were all naked.
Yep, they did. We played all of those ROMs just to see what they were, and they're all garbage. And
Dark Tetsuya says, I've been writing games off and on ever since I learned BASIC on the Apple II series back in the day. Wrote some simple Dragon's Lair-esque text adventures. Twine sounds right up your alley, Dark Tetsuya, because that's what that does, text adventures. Lately, I've been tinkering with programs like The Games Factory, writing some simple arcade-style games, and other game makers, the most recent of which is called Construct 2. The first paid edition is pretty pricey, but the free one does plenty if you're just getting your feet wet. And lastly, Stephen D. on Facebook says, I was 8 in 1984, and my friend's father made us a little stand-up arcade cabinet with a backboard to be used for the screen. We drilled pathways in the backboard and would take LEDs on hangers and move them around like spaceships. Can't remember what we did for the controller, but it was awesome. So there you go. A lot of cool little answers. Very diverse the way people have been making their games on Facebook and Google+. Hopefully lots more people are going to participate in our game jam, the VOG game jam. All the details next week. And I realized something, by the way. I as much as I would love to give a tangible prize to everybody that participates, I have to pay shipping on everything out of my own pocket. So it probably will be limited to like 10 something, and we can take any leftovers that we have still. We'll take with us to GX.
I have
next
lots
year.
of Steam codes left over, so there's always digital stuff.
That's true. That's true. There is a lot of digital stuff. So we'll try to put it all together this week. Honestly, talk of this idea started on Thursday, and I loved it so much. I was like, we need to make it happen. And Bobby put a good idea out there. He said, well, people should probably have the holidays to work on their projects because a lot of people have downtime from work. I was like, oh, crap, you're right. So we better make it happen fast. So we will. Anyway, let's get on to some more news tonight. We have a few more stories for you guys. Loki.
All right. So as much as I like the Call of Duty series, the last few years it's been kind of not doing as well as it used to. It used to be kind of record-setting each year where it would sell out, beyond what, the previous year's edition did. And unfortunately, that kind of gone downhill since, I want to say Black Ops 2, which is sad because Black Ops 2 is actually a really good title. But they're saying basically Advanced Warfare is down 27% year over year. And that's not good. And that's kind of sad because I thought that was going to be a little bit more of an interesting game. But I guess people just aren't getting in the Call of Duty as much as ever.
Do you
honestly,
think maybe they're just milking it too much? Maybe they need to sleep it for a year?
Maybe. I think they tried some different stuff with it, but it still did feel a little bit like Black Ops 2. I don't know. It's an interesting game. It's just and maybe it's just not appealing. Maybe it's not different enough year over year where people are like, yeah, I don't really need to get this one. I can understand that. And honestly, even the new mechanics in the game, it does enhance some things, but it's not, completely different. But I don't know. I mean, like Madden and stuff like that, they enhance things and they don't really change everything. So people still buy that. It did well. It still was, one of the best-selling games this year. It's just, unfortunately, not a lot of people are buying it. I think also still we're kind of in that phase where maybe people aren't picking it up right now because they're going to pick it up on another console later on once they decide to, bump up to a current gen console. Maybe that's the situation, or maybe they're skipping it this year because they're saving up for that console, or maybe because there's too many fucking games that come out, in the month of November and October. I think it could be a lot of those things. Or, there was this big shooter game that came out that was kind of an MMO called Destiny that did really well. So I think a lot of those factors play into it. But I think if next year, if it's kind of still on the downturn, then maybe they have milked all they can out of it. I don't think that they have, but maybe I'm sure they'll try to figure it out. Maybe go back to World War II again. I don't know. Do something different. Maybe you should fucking buy the rights to Time Splitters and put out a new Time Splitters game, because that's really what I would want to see.
Now you're fishing.
I know.
All right. Well, maybe people aren't playing the new Call of Duty because they can't let go of the shooters they've been playing for like 7 years now. One of those big popular shooter games is Team Fortress 2. It's also popular because it's free. And Team Fortress 2 is going to be getting a new, I guess, update. I don't want to say expansion because they're calling it an update, but the update is called End of the Line. And I went, oh, does that mean this is the last one and Team Fortress 3 imminent? Not really. Even though
Can't count the 3.
Yeah. Even though End of the Line will have 21 cosmetic items, and it'll have a new taunt for the pyro and a new multi-class melee weapon, and apparently a big focus on ducks, like collectible ducks and duck tokens and so forth. Okay. This whole thing is actually based on a community film that's actually also called End of the Line. So they were inspired
Oh my God. Is it? Oh, that sounds awesome then. Because that film was fucking rad. So
yeah, it's a fan film. It runs 14 minutes.
Oh,
End of the Line.
Yes, please. More of that.
That is pretty rad. It is something that they are building into the official canon then of Team Fortress 2. So lots of folks looking forward to that. And bless Valve for keeping this game going.
That, honestly, with some of those Team Fortress 2 videos,
you're missing that VOG Team Fortress server right about now, aren't you?
No, I'm not. It's once again too much stuff to play, but I honestly would love to see a Team Fortress movie. I think that would be awesome because they have some really great characters.
Well, they have a lot of machinima.
They
stuff.
do, but I would love to see something that was like a few hours long that was actually in theaters.
Cial in our chat room, not a fan, saying End of the Line was such a disappointment. Tiger Claw in chat says they should have partnered with Disney and done End of Line as DLC to dress up your characters as Tron characters. That's what I said. When I first saw the story, I was like, oh shit, is Tron in Team Fortress? Oh, it's End of the Line. Got it. That's what everybody says our guild, because our guild in Final Fantasy is actually called End of Line, and it's because of Tron. But we get, like, people send tells or ask all the time, shouldn't it be End of the Line? No. In this case, it is End of Line because it is a quote from a movie. Anyway.
And also it was a legit statement command.
Yeah.
So.
I know. Anyhow, Dark Soccer, you got some legit news for us.
I do. Actually, Valve had the big holiday auction thing going on. They actually had to shut it down and restart the holiday auction because there were some activity done by a few people where they were basically just let me start over. Basically, they figured out there's a Reddit thread that said that there were some weird things going on, basically, that you could use a duplication exploit. And people were exploiting it. And they were just getting tons of freebies, by actually even creating a secondhand market to sell gems for money. So basically, Valve just rebooted it, started it over, and have been doing the cases item by item. So they just started it over. They're like, fuck you guys for doing this. We're just starting it over.
Screw you guys. I'm going home.
Well, yeah.
No, but I mean, it sucks that people have to... I don't know. Anyway.
If you've got a system that someone wants...
I know.
that has a manipulation in it. Someone's
know.
got to manipulate it.
I know. It just sucks. It's the holidays, people.
People are monsters.
I know. It sucks. Loki.
All right. So Twitch kind of going the route of esports because they know that that's popular. And hell, a lot of people stream their esports stuff on Twitch. So it makes sense that they've acquired Good Game, which I guess they're saying it's a company that the world's first full-service agency dedicated to esports and live video game broadcasting communities. So is that like a recruiter? I don't know. But basically, there's Good Game has an amazing reputation in the industry for its expertise in both sponsorship sales and talent support. Their passion for helping the content creators and pro players achieve success has elevated the entire industry in the minds of brands worldwide. So it's kind of like a promoter, talent scout type thing, it sounds like. I'm sure now that, it would be a good angle for them to go, I guess, because esports are pretty big and they kind of have the grasp of, streaming on their site. So I don't know, advertisers. It's pretty interesting. Apparently, didn't say how much though they purchased them for, but it'll be interesting to see how they take that. If they're going to try to maybe make esports more like I don't know, mainstream.
It's interesting to see Twitch acquiring companies when they themselves were just acquired by Amazon. I mean, I realize that, it's still in a lot of ways business as usual as Twitch, but it's just interesting that all those chess pieces are moving the way they are.
Well, now that they have an extra almost $1 billion to do that with, I mean,
right?
they could probably spend some of that, on this kind of thing.
That's right. We're for sale, by the way. No, I'm kidding. All right, moving on. Talking about games for Windows. Yeah, no, really. I'm going to talk about games for Windows, or at least what the hell is Microsoft's future in gaming on the PC? Because we don't really know a whole lot about what that has in store. We talk about things like Valve and all these other store in fronts. Microsoft wants a piece of that, and they've tried before, and surely they're going to come back at some point. And what's interesting is there's been a tweet that Phil Spencer actually responded to. The tweet asked Phil Spencer, Phil, can we expect some UI footage of Windows 10 on Xbox One in January? And Phil responded to it saying, I'll be focusing more on what we are doing on Windows 10 in January. It's time for us to talk about gaming on Windows. So
wow.
What are they going to do with Windows 10? A new storefront?
Wow, that's so exciting. I can't wait to see what Windows 10 brings. Nope, sorry, don't care. Honestly, I'm just like, it seems like Microsoft likes to try to do things that other people do. And don't get me wrong, they do a great job on their gaming platform, but as far as like some of the other platforms that they tried, like
PC is a gaming platform for many
smartphones and tablets and MP3 players, haven't exactly been stellar. And like I'd say their PC storefront, it's not excellent.
I would assume that whatever this is going to be is going to tie together Xbox One as well as Windows Phone, as well as the PC.
I know
Windows 10.
I know the idea is that they want those cross-platform applications to where say I get say I buy a game or something on my PC. It runs on my PC. It now runs on my Xbox One and it runs on my phone. Is the perfect world scenario of that. But I don't know. I just don't think anyone's really care. I mean, what exclusive apps could you possibly have that anyone would really care if they ran across all those platforms?
Minecraft?
Yeah, but Minecraft already is on those other platforms.
Minecraft 2?
Cool, I guess.
I'm waiting to see that. Seems to be that's going to be the key piece. I'm very curious to see if that's what they pull out and put out on the table in January.
That's their only card. Cool.
It's an expensive card.
Exactly.
It's probably their ace of spades.
And more power to them if that helps drive their platform. But you can't just run a platform. It's just like me. Okay, I have Origin installed in my system because I wanted to play Titanfall. I played the Titanfall demo. I did not install it, but doesn't mean I'm shopping for games on Origin. I mean, that's the same thing with Minecraft too. I will buy it on their store. If this is the only way I can buy the game is through their storefront, then sure, I'll buy it through their storefront. Doesn't mean I'm going to use their storefront to buy more games. I don't know what they're trying to do with it. Whatever, let's see. I really want to see what Windows 10 does to enhance the experience of the Xbox One. That's what I'm curious to see. Yeah. That and DirectX 12 or whatever it is that they're on now. I'm curious to see how, because that's actually supposed to do a little bit more, but we'll see. I mean, don't fuck it up.
All right. Good advice. Good advice. Some comments in our chat room over at live.vognetwork.com. Bonds006 says they killed the game for Windows, and I won't go back. Rama's saying, though, Windows 10 is pretty fucking sweet. No, I haven't. I guess they do have the whole like preview build or whatever, but I haven't really checked it out. I don't want to. I feel like when it comes to OSs, I don't want to screw around with something that's not like finished. If I had an extra computer, maybe, but I don't really have that luxury. So, all right. Let us get to the mailbag. Every week you guys send us emails. Participate at orangeloungeradio.com. And usually Dark Sakura will dive in head first and read the emails, but I believe I'm doing it tonight, right? Yes. Because Dark Sakura's still got a little bit of the voice, we don't want her to use it too much. She has
Unless
to use...
you want the emails to sound really creepy.
She needs her voice for complaining, not to read emails tonight. All right. I'm going to read some emails here instead. I've got 3 emails to get through tonight, so let's get to it. I'm going to go ahead and stop the music now because I got to multitask here. So let's go to AZHP first off tonight, saying, just wanted to submit a small correction from last week's podcast where Rob stated that instead of Marvel or Star Wars being included or considered for Kingdom Hearts 3, that it would only be Frozen that would be added to the game. I pulled a quote from the source interview which will clarify the vague quote Rob quoted last week. Well, how dare you try to correct me on something? How dare you insinuate that I was
thought that was a
incorrect?
joke, not necessarily.
Well, let's get to that. Let's get to the quote that AZHP emails us here saying. And by the way, I'm kidding. AZHP says, when I asked whether I could safely infer that Star Wars and Marvel are not off limits, Yase confirmed that they are being considered. Well, yeah, they're all under consideration, he said. Nothing's off limits. We're considering all of the worlds. There are so many wonderful concepts. We're happy about that, but at the same time, it's really tough to choose. The email goes on from AZHP. While I would honestly prefer if Star Wars and Marvel weren't in Kingdom Hearts 3 myself, since I would prefer more cartoony characters in the game, I wanted to let you guys know that it actually is what they're considering. That sounded like, though, honestly, thank you for the clarification, but that did sound like a lot of a non-answer answer. He's just said, oh, yeah, we're considering everything, but it's so hard to choose, and I'm not telling you shit. I still stand by what I said last week, though, that Frozen's got a better chance of either of these things on showing up in the game. Real-world stuff doesn't always tend to show up in Kingdom Hearts. I do realize Pirates of the Caribbean made an appearance. That was a pretty rare exception, and that's still a very, 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 very Disney-grown thing at heart. When we talked about this story last week, we were coming off all this other Frozen mania, and I just see it happening for Kingdom Hearts 3. That doesn't mean the other stuff can't happen, but I just don't get your hopes up, people. Don't get your hopes up. Star Wars has their own line of video games, as does Marvel. I think in some ways it would be really weird if they showed up in Kingdom Hearts. I wouldn't hate it. I'd actually kind of like it, but it does make sense to instead showcase these other properties that may never show up otherwise. I don't know. Regardless, it was a huge non-answer answer, in my opinion, and we don't know. We're going to continue to speculate and fan wank all the way until we see some more concrete information, I would assume at the next E3. Maybe. Actually, it'll probably be 2 years from now, because next E3 will be all about Final Fantasy 15. Maybe in 2016 we can finally fucking talk about Kingdom Hearts. YYR emails us, saying, I found the discussion on, quote, games that define last generation from last week's show to be really interesting, partially because I'm not quite certain that one could define last generation with a list of games at all. How do we define anyway? I would take it to mean something like this. Games that have the look and feel made possible by that generation and that influenced many games to come, both as part of that generation and for generations afterwards. It's easy to put games like Super Mario Bros., Sonic the Hedgehog, and Final Fantasy VII on lists such as this. But the sheer length of time between last generation and this one, along with a massive number of and diversity of titles released, makes this almost impossible. Gaming has transformed since the release of the 360, PS3, and Wii. Some things that define the generation for me include the Gears of War trilogy, the introduction of achievements, the first Dead Rising, the Indie Games channel, and the availability of online fighting games. These are all revolutionary in their own way, but for many people, none of these things will have even been on their radar, which leads me to my point. There is just too much about this generation to fit on a short list. For example, I personally wouldn't define it with such events as the rise of motion gaming or the popularity of the American music game, because outside of the genre faithful, both of these turned out to be fads and are no longer popular at all. But both definitely belong on a bullet list of things that defined it for many people. It's just that this will wind up becoming a very, very, very long list. Don't forget that the very same hardware that ran the brand new Grand Theft Auto 5 also ran the brand new Ridge Racer 6 with an 8-year gap in between. I guess what I'm trying to say is this. I would not want to attempt taking on this task because I believe it would be nearly impossible. Let me stop there because the rest of the email gets into something else. It is a huge task, but so is trying to name the game of the year. Yet people seem to do it anyway. And I think it's really too hard sometimes to name just one game of the year. And that's going to change from person to person, just depending on your experiences and, what you like. And that's why, diversity is great because everybody brings different things to the table. I do want to clarify, though. I don't know if the rise of motion gaming was a reference to Wii Sports, but I just want to clarify. I put Wii Sports on not just because of the motion gaming, but because the accessibility is a huge thing and more people that started playing games as a result. But I would agree with the fact that it is very hard to define the one game that changed the generation. That is a very hard thing to do. But I could try to pick the one that I think, and that's a huge opinion, I think did it the most out of all of them. And that's why I picked Wii Sports. Because I think Wii Sports, out of all of them, did it the most. But certainly is not the only game that would define a generation, which you're right is kind of a vague concept to begin with. But then again, so is Game of the Year. Does that mean the best game, the most fun game, the prettiest game? Who knows? Anyway, the rest of the email here from YYR. Also, thank you for the information on the upcoming Wii U CD-ROM attachment. But the latest news suggests that while it is capable of playing CD-ROM discs, it will not actually allow users of the Wii U to play music CDs. Oh well. Finally, thank you for suggesting a subtitle for Pixel Shits 2, Projectile Explosive Diarrhea. However, I heard the PED is illegal for most athletes, some game developers, and a few podcasters. Anyone else play Acrophobia back in the day? Aaron, YYR. Yes. Really, I played Acrophobia back in the day. I sure did. That was a fun game. I think that's why I do have such a soft spot for like when we had the guys from Jackbox Games on a couple weeks ago, because a lot of the old Berkeley stuff, like that's where most of them ended up. So that's why I probably have a soft spot, because I loved the old Berkeley games. All right, lastly but not leastly, Act Deft emails us. Hello from your friendly neighborhood Mexican, Act Deft. You know how Amiibos have been actually quite popular, running out in places and even selling for more than they're worth. But so far, the only game that has given them some use is Smash Brothers. Granted, they're still new and all, but I hope that Nintendo does more with them in the future and try to give them more than an, quote, use an Amiibo in-game to unlock items thing that they have going right now. In fact, I do have an idea. I think it's a really great one. Since Animal Crossing Wii U is apparently coming either next year or in 2016, it will probably have Amiibo support. But instead of just giving you items in-game to decorate your house, how about they make the Amiibo unlock a neighbor of that same character? Like you place the Kirby Amiibo on the gamepad, and the game will give you Kirby as a neighbor for your town. Wouldn't it be fantastic having your regular neighbors and special neighbors? Maybe have the Amiibos live in an apartment complex or something like that. Oh, I like that idea. It would be like Tomodachi Life or something where they all live in a building. I posted this idea on other sites like Reddit and got a somewhat mixed reception, as you will get on Reddit. But I wanted to know what you guys in the chatters and other emails or callers think of this idea. Anyways, thanks for reading. Hope you're having a great Sunday. And he does end with a PS. I have a code for Super Street Fighter 4 Arcade Edition on Steam, and since I got the Lego Movie code for PS Vita a few weeks back, I thought I should pay it forward. Or back, I don't know. Either any of you can keep it or give it away in chat. Enjoy. Well, thank you for that Steam code. I'm going to put that over in the prize pool for the VOG Jams. There you go. That's the first thing going in the prize pool. A Steam code for Super Street Fighter 4 Arcade Edition on Steam. We'll just put that in a little prize pool for people that participate. As far as the part about Amiibos, your idea is cool. I do realize Nintendo had to kind of back the car in, so to speak, with Amiibos as far as, what they did with Hyrule Warriors, what they did with Mario Kart, and so forth. So I don't judge them too harshly on what they did there. However, I think the really telling thing is going to be, what do they do in next year's games? The one to really keep an eye on, in my opinion, I want to know how those Amiibo will work in Splatoon. I think however Amiibos function is in Splatoon is going to be very telling for the future of Amiibo. Is that what it's going to be?
I think it's going to be a hat.
Is it just going to be have Amiibo unlock crap? Or would there possibly be that you could play some of those characters in Splatoon? Or that you would level up? Maybe you have the hat, but you're kind of doing like a level up thing. That's the one thing I like about the Amiibo is that you're leveling it up. But it's like if I level it up in Smash, then what?
I think that they're doing too much. I mean, I don't have a problem with them doing like the unlock crap stuff because honestly, it's unreasonable to expect them to incorporate every single Amiibo that they're ever going to create into all of these games. Like, I shouldn't be able to play Mario in like Hyrule Warriors. Although I would totally love to see a Kingdom. Was it a Mushroom Kingdom Warriors or something like that? Would be fucking amazing. But I understand that it's unreasonable for me to expect them to have all these characters playable in every single. I mean, Wii Fit Trainer. It doesn't make any sense.
I have a good idea. Here's my idea. I'm going to pitch out there. Mario Maker's coming out soon, right? What if in Mario Maker there's certain new things, not existing things, new things that you can use if you have an Amiibo that you've leveled up to a certain point in some other game. So, for example, like maybe I get a Kirby picture that I can have in a stage somewhere, or Kirby music. Oh, even better. I get Kirby music, and if I have the Amiibo, I can use one song in a stage. Yes, I know I'm talking Kirby music and Mario, but roll with me here. But maybe if I've leveled my Kirby fighter to level 30 in Smash Brothers, then I have a second song I can use.
Or maybe it just skins everything to Kirby.
Yeah, or maybe changes the colors to Kirby colors or
something. Or
like
you could have for Yoshi, it changes everything Yoshi Island style or something.
But I love the idea of I would have to, and this would be really smart for Nintendo to do, you have to do something in this game over here to make it happen over here. But maybe not necessarily restricted to just one game. I kind of think the Amiibo should level up as a whole. So that way, okay, I level it in Smash Brothers, but then if I want to push it even further, and even though it might not do anything in Smash Brothers, but my Amiibo level, I would use it in Mario Kart, and then I would use it in Mario Maker.
It'd be cool if they'd have different stats or something. Like you could if I play them in Smash Brothers, become stronger, and they gain fighting skills or something like that. Where if I play them in Mario Kart, they gain driving skills or something. It doesn't necessarily mean if I have a level 50 Amiibo in Smash Brothers that's good at driving or something. I don't know.
It's not an easy thing to balance, but Nintendo has gone down this path, and I think there's a lot of really awesome shit that they could do with this. But I just worry, is Nintendo going to be too stubborn to do it, as they often are? I don't know. And maybe Amiibos are too popular for their own good. I don't know. Tiger Claw in chat says they're probably going to make Amiibos specific to Splatoon, no doubt. Well, with as much as those things are selling, why not? Make more. All right, that's it for the mailbag. If you want to participate with the mailbag in a future week, participate at orangeloungeradio.com. Let's get into the FUs of the week.
Oh, this is bad. Here is justice. Here is punishment. This is fucked up.
It might sound a little bit odd. There's a lot of positive posts going on about people. You know how people will do romance mods for games. Like, oh, well, I want to be able to romance this person even though they're straight, or I want to romance this person even though they're gay. And there's a bunch of people now going on Tumblr saying, well, you can't change a person's sexuality. Don't do it for the game. Don't take. But then these are the same people who are also, shipping, characters in TV shows that are canonically of a different sexuality. If it's wrong to do it in one genre, it's wrong to do it in another genre. And it doesn't just apply to wanting to make homosexual characters straight. It also applies the other way around. It applies towards wanting to make asexual characters, have attraction to bits or something. Respect the way that the author or the creator of the universe has said it. They're not in control of it no more than real people are in control of it. If you are going to write your fiction, I have no problem with you exploring themes, but accept that it is not actually the way that it was intended, and that you are creating an alternate universe. The end.
Okay, so I was just gonna say devil's advocate. Like, if somebody's making fantasy, and that's fantasy, then that's fine as long as they acknowledge it as fantasy.
There are people who say they'll try to insert canon. It's not canon.
But don't push your fantasy on everybody else.
Exactly. And there are people out there saying, oh, well, it's just another canon. No. It's an alternate reality.
Canon means the author wrote it.
The word canon originated with religious canon in a religious doctrine. In this case, canon refers to something that is the way that the author created. You can have a head canon, which is your addition to things that happen in the canon that might be plausible in the canon. But when you go and you change something, that is completely outside canon. And your little fantasy world does not apply to how the author created it. And I'm writing a book now, so I start thinking about these things. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I don't want people to take this asexual character that I'm writing and make them, completely interested in this guy's dick. No. Dick's gross. That's how I'm writing her. So...
Hey, you know what else is not canon? The Star Wars Extended Universe. Aw, too soon.
Indeed.
Too soon. Aw, rest in peace.
I approve of that one, Rob.
All right. Loki.
I guess just after the fact that I haven't had a lot of time to work on programming and stuff. I literally get sometimes at work just like 15 minutes, and it's just not enough time to even sit down and open my laptop and work on anything. Just can't switch my train of thought to something different, so it's kind of disappointing. No, that's all.
My FU goes to, I have a crazy week at work ahead. I like my job and all, but oh my god, FU to the fact that I probably have to get up at 6 a.m. tomorrow. Not looking forward to that. Thanks. Means I have to be in bed in less than an hour. That's not going to happen if I want 8 hours of sleep. That won't happen. We all know that. All right, there it is, the FUs of the week. Just a couple more stories for you guys, and then we're going to quickly take some calls. But I warn you guys, I'm not keeping the Skype line open very often. If we don't get calls, we're wrapping up. Because like I just said, I have to be at work I have to be up really early tomorrow. So we will allow, though, it is the show where every gamer has a voice. So if you do want to call in, we will take a couple quick calls. A couple quick stories here at the end, though. Loki.
So it's hard to believe that OC Remix has been around for 15 years, but that's what they're celebrating. It's 15 years of independent remixes of video game music, and that's pretty cool. In fact, including with that, they have some new tracks that they've been putting together, 15 new remixes from 15 different game consoles. And this is all in celebration of, 15 years. And man, they've even had all these different albums that they put out. I mean, it's just crazy. I can't believe they've been around that long.
Yeah, my gosh. SJ100 Matt sums it up perfectly in chat. Shit, 15 years? God, I feel old. Yep, pretty much. Pretty much. That's how I feel, too. But congrats to them. I mean, I look back on this show and I go, God, 12 years. We must be like the oldest fucking thing on the internet. But nope, OC Remix has us beat. OC Remix has us beat. Good job, guys. Lastly, but not leastly, prepare your wallet because the Steam holiday sale, it's coming. December 18th is the day. Now, keep in mind, Valve hasn't announced this, but this is coming through some Japanese PayPal users. Apparently, some correspondence went out to them revealing the launch of December 18th. A Reddit user actually shared the email that they received, which does mention that the sale will start on December 18th and run through January 2nd. Of course, we do not know what the thing will entail, but if it's like any previous Steam sale, you know what's going to be on sale? Everything. Except maybe the new releases and the stuff that's still commanding $60.
Call of Duty will not be on sale.
Yeah, Call of Duty. Well, you never know. Even Call of Duty, if it's not selling so well, maybe they'll even knock it down 10%.
Take a page from Shadow of Mordor. Now, I'm not even sure why Shadow of Mordor is marked down so much, but shit, that game was like half off for like a long time. It just came out. I don't think it was selling that bad.
Of course, Valve not commenting on these rumors, but
of course. But this is how it's leaked out in the past, so it makes perfect sense.
That's right. All right, we're going to open up the Skype line right now. Here's your chance: 1-877-GAME-OLR, or our username on Skype is Orange Lounge Radio. If you want to talk about anything we've talked about so far on the show, or something else. Meanwhile, let me just check in real quick if we have any last-minute stories from Loki while we wait for a call.
They have a cool hack that's going on for remote play that you can get to work on an Android phone. That's kind of neat. I don't think that's actually... it's an app that they have that you can actually use a tablet device or something to do remote play on in case you don't have a Vita.
All right, we are going to go to the phones because it's lighting up. Hi, you're on Orange Lounge Radio. Who's this?
Hello, this is Hitstun.
Hey, Hitstun, how are you? We haven't heard from you in a long time. What's up?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. I'm the man that used to do tech support for the fastest internet in the chat.
Nice. What's
all right,
buddy?
I'm really excited. You guys are doing the VOG jam, a game jam here. That sounds great.
Me too.
Officially count me in on that.
Yes. Yes, that's
I'm
awesome.
pretty hyped for that.
I'm hyped for it too, and it's scary, uncharted territory because who knows? People may hate the theme, but I think you'll find a way to work with it. Even if you end up hating the theme, I think people will find a way to work with it because it doesn't mean that has to be the central theme of your game, or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's scary.
I don't know if you can do worse than the most recent Ludum Dare, though.
True.
Entire game on one screen. That's what they picked?
Oh, wow.
Like that, you could do anything with that, but it's a little too wide, When you guys are picking a theme, try to give something that at least gives us a little bit of direction about what the game should be about, or like a topic maybe.
Well, I would think, even if we did something like Puzzle Sluts, maybe doesn't necessarily have to be a puzzle game. Puzzle Sluts could be, you're looking for missing pieces of the puzzle in a point-and-click adventure mystery game. You know what I mean? And obviously I'm making that up completely. That's not going to be the theme. But
well, that might be too narrow, but if you just do sluts, we might be able to do more of it. We could do all kinds of games about sluts. Puzzle sluts, fighting sluts, action sluts.
The ingredient is sluts.
Awesome.
No, I'm kidding.
So
tune in next week to find out.
Awesome.
I'm really excited about it. And what's really exciting is that we have a lot of people who have experience jumping into this. Bobby says he'll do it. You're going to say you're going to do it. YYR's going to do it. Now even the Cooking with Unity guys are saying they're going to keep an eye on it, and they might do it too.
Uh-oh.
I know, right? But remember, this isn't about quality, and that's why I wanted to stress that, because if somebody's like, I don't know how to, this Unity stuff, I don't have time, it's too scary, I appreciate it, but you know what, I just want to make a slutty Little Big Planet level, then cool. We want to do it. Just don't get banned.
Yeah, so it'd be awesome to see what you guys come up with. Let's see. I don't really have to do plug for the Instagib stream because Raven's Dolphin did it for me last week. Thanks, dude. So instead I'm going to plug something else. There's a convention coming up at the end of July called Replay FX. I'll go ahead and throw it in chat here, but it's in Pittsburgh, and it's a gaming convention, and it's also attended by PAPA, the Professional and Amateur Pinball Association, also run out of Pittsburgh. And it's going to have 700 arcade machines, and 700 pinball tables, 2,000 arcade machines. And I'm kind of interested to see if there's anyone else in VOG that's going to that. So we'll probably see how that shakes down. Maybe it'll be a forum topic or something. We'll see. I
don't know of a lot of listeners in the Pittsburgh area. At least I can't think of any off the top of my head. But if it's on the East Coast, it's certainly possible Rama will go.
Yeah, that'll be cool. Hopefully we can get Ronma out to that one. I'm also going to PAX East, so I will see you there.
Yes, I will.
Pretty excited for that.
Me too.
And that's about it, I think.
All right. Well, Hitstun, I'm going to let you go so we can try to get a couple more calls in, but excited to see what comes out for the Game Jam.
Yep, doing my token call-in saying, yeah, I've been listening for 9 years, keep going for a good 12 more.
Oh, my gosh. We will try. That means so much. Just don't tell me how old you were when you first started listening, because that always throws me. All right. Have a good one, my friend.
It's all good. Have a good one.
All right. Take care.
All right. Bye.
All right, 1877 Game OLR, our username on Skype, Orange Lounge Radio. We haven't heard from him in a long time. It's always good to hear from. I love the people that call in all the time, but I love hearing from new people and blasts from the past as well. Like I was literally thinking of Jim Sally the other day, and I don't even remember what made me think of him, but I was like, we haven't got a call from Jim Sally in so long.
Did you hear the words "choo choo"? Was that?
I must have. Like I heard a train, or there was somebody imitating a train, and I was like, oh my god, is Jim Sally here? I don't know. We got a call on the line. Let's get to it. Hi, you're on Orange Lounge Radio. Who's this?
Yeah, this is Zorme.
I'm sorry, Zormak?
Zorme.
Zorme. Oh, yes. How are you, my friend?
Good, how are you?
Good. What's on your mind?
Am I coming okay? I don't know how well.
We can hear you. It's a little bit like a walkie-talkie sound, but that's all right. It's good enough. We can hear you. What's up, buddy?
Okay, great. So, first of all, just props to the Silent Hill 4 little music during the break. I was running late. I didn't get a chance to hear the first part. But to just like log in and then hear that was pretty awesome.
Well, Silent Hill 4 was actually our classic game of the week this week because, believe it or not, that game is 10 years old.
Yeah, I actually remember running around. I won't say nothing else, but to play it at home. But yeah, Silent Hill 4: The Room, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. So I remember playing that back in the day. It's been almost forever since I've actually heard it. So. The other thing I wanted to talk about was the whole gaming, people making their own games and stuff. Is that going to be a thing that you guys are going to start doing now? It's pretty interesting that you guys are going into that.
I wouldn't say we're changing the whole show, but we're about being the show where every gamer has a voice. And I think one thing. Any show you watch on TV is going to have a story arc that goes on for weeks and weeks sometimes. And I think right now kind of the arc that we're embracing is, why don't you use your voice to actually make some games? Because I think especially this year, it's kind of there's been a lot of talk this year about diversity in games. Let's just put it that way, right? And what better way to diversify games than get everybody making games and to diversify the voices that are making them? It's kind of like they said in that interview, the guys from Cooking with Unity, we need to get more gamers making games is what we need. So I don't think there's I kind of see that. I like embracing that idea right now. Now, are we going to turn into a tech-oriented how-to-make-your-own-games podcast? Not necessarily. That's what Cooking with Unity does, and there's plenty of other resources out there to help you out with that type of stuff. But are we going to do what we can to really kind of nudge people and go, you ever thought about trying this, nudge people and encourage people to try in a place where people we will say, you are not allowed to hate here. This is not a hate. OLR is not about hate. It's don't be a dick. I don't care who you are, where you're from, what you do, but here we respect each other. So you're going to create a game, and damn it, we're going to embrace everything that is made. And believe me, there are going to be some shitty entries in this game jam because I'm participating. There will be some shitty entries in this game jam, but damn it, we're going to love everything as long as somebody tries. That's the important part.
All right, cool. So are you going to maybe point out your favorite websites to kind of look at certain games being made in different environments? I know Unity is gonna be pretty much the primary language to create the game, but I'm pretty sure there's gonna be other websites that kind of utilize other tools, right?
I would love to highlight different things every week as to kind of help people with ideas. And I just want to say, even though we had the Cooking with Unity guys on the show tonight, and Unity is a great choice, I don't want to say Unity is the official platform of the competition. It's not. The theme of the competition is create something, damn it. So if you create it in Unity, awesome. If this is what gets you to learn Unity, awesome. But if this is what gets you to learn Unreal or something else, and that's what you've been wanting to do, then we embrace that as much.
I think a great source, I always tend to go, for me, just doing Unity and stuff, I tend to go to Reddit a lot. So Reddit, they have our game dev and our Unity 3D are pretty good sources. If you're looking to do a different language, they have those as well. Our Unreal Engine, they have, I'm pretty sure they've one for the Coast 2D or whatever it is. Lots of different programming languages out there. Game Maker, I think, is free at some points. So you can do that. RPG Maker, lots of resources.
Fifth Dream in chat with an excellent question here saying, fuck, does it even have to be electronic? Can I make a pen and paper RPG? Well, I'm going to consult the golden rule of the competition, which is create something, damn it. So I actually think a board game, a pen and paper game, if that's what you really want to do, it's starting to push it a little bit, but I think I'm okay with that because at the end of the day, create something, damn it.
Yeah, and that's pretty good too. Because if anything, if it is a really good game, pen and paper, I'm pretty sure that they'll make some version of it, so people could play on some sort of console.
Dark Soccer wants to jump in here real quick.
I think the rule for that is that it has to be accessible online. That means you have to publish the rules. If it's a pen and paper
publish
game.
the rules online, basically.
Indeed, or if you've got a board game, put the template up online.
Cards Against Humanity, great example. It's a game you play in person, but it's something you can download and print and make your own deck, right?
Right.
That's a great example.
It takes you can go in and make a 300 DPI game board.
I like that as a rule. So yes, it's fine if you do a board game or a pen and paper, but it has to be something I get online and I can...
So that it is accessible to all who are participating in the game jam.
Okay, I like that. Great clarification there. Brad from Pod Culture says, do drinking games count? Okay, now you're pushing it. Okay.
Only the ones where I'm drinking.
It's part of the development process if you want to do that.
All right. Well, my friend, I got to let you go so we can try to squeeze in one more call, but do you think you might participate in the game jam?
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to be looking at some of the, the websites for information, and we'll see.
I love it.
YouTube is a great help, and I even went through some of these free courses for I don't know, just even programming and stuff that I had to kind of try to teach myself, and a lot of it was just kind of looking up examples online and just seeing how they do stuff, and I'm still looking up how do I use this command in something, or how do I do this?
I'm still waiting for your vlog. I would like to discuss that.
Yeah, call them out.
I mean, your information is any information is good information. So.
Yeah, that blog. Hopefully, I have a URL already, and I just have to make the webpage. So someday, but that's time. That's time away from programming. So I don't know. We'll see.
I promise you, I'll pick on Loki later. You take care, my friend. Thanks for calling.
Thank you.
All right, bye. All right, we're going to try to squeeze in one more call here, and this will be it for the night. Hi, you're on Orange Lounge Radio. Who's this?
It's the one and only Ranma. How is everybody tonight?
Great, Ranma. How are you?
I am good. I just want you to know, because of what Hitstone has said, I am starting a Kickstarter called Get Ranma and the Crew to Conventions.
You need a van like they have in Scooby-Doo.
Well, I don't think it'd be hard for us to get a van because Mako-chan is pretty beastly when she drives. So, we got nothing to worry about.
I'm just saying clouds of smoke come out of both those vans.
Well, there is a reason why she does drive and does all the cooking. So,
what's on your mind, my friend?
Well, this whole VOG Jam thing, I might have to break out my Visual Basic skills and do something or learn Unity since I now have free time.
Fuck yes. And by the way, Akuma JP in chat says, I don't want to be that guy, but Unity is not a language. Don't worry, you're not being that guy. You're right. Unity is not a language. Unity is an engine. There is a big difference. But at the end of the golden rule, again, is create something, damn it. So if you are going to use an engine, if you're going to use a language, if you're going to use whatever it takes to get the job done, we encourage it. So love it.
Yes, indeed. Yes. And a couple more things, I'm going to get out of here. Now, this whole Lucky Chloe thing. Now, you already said what I said in the chat earlier. But also, I have a feeling Lucky Chloe's going to be on the U.S. release because I don't see Namco doing two separate presses of the game for separate coding for this. I just have a feeling it's going to be there, but it's just going to be locked so you can't access it. And then when all the drama dies down, for $3.99, you can have the character.
Yeah, DLC. That would be the best way to stick it, is to give it to Japan for free and make us pay for it. It'd be hilarious.
Exactly.
I just think dude's pissed off at what he read on the internet, and I really don't think it's going to impact the final game. I think in a slow news week, people are really reaching for a headline here. I think he said something when he was really pissed off, and he was kind of like, well, maybe I should make this instead then, and people are reading that to say, oh, he's not going to do it. I think you're right. Namco's not going to make two completely different copies. That's just not really what they're going to do. Exactly. She'll be in the game. Everybody just needs to pull their stick out of their ass and get over it because, again, this is the same series that has Panda Bears and Yoshimitsu. And, come on, let it go. Let it go, people.
Exactly.
Don't.
Loki thought I was
Don't.
going to break into song. That was last week. I'm moving on. The cold never bothered me anyway. All right. Anything else, Rama?
Final Fantasy, real quick. Now, I came across this on my Facebook, and it does remind me of you and Alan in a way of how you two met. I have a longtime friend, and she just got married. What I didn't know is that she met her now husband while playing Final Fantasy XI.
Was this the story that was on Reddit?
Yes, and I tagged you in it because
Yes.
for a possible article. The girl, Jen, that's one of my closest friends. I've known her for like 10, 11 years. We were a couple of con whores back in the day.
How funny. You're right. I'm sorry I didn't throw that in there tonight. Just, all the other stuff sidetracked me a little bit. But, yeah, that's awesome that they met in Final Fantasy 11. And what? They play 14 now, right?
Probably. But right now, real life has been taking over for them. So, because, they just came back from the honeymoon and this and that,
Well, to be fair, Alan and I didn't really meet in a video game, although we did meet online. We met on LiveJournal, which I realize there's a lot of people now listening to the show that don't even know what LiveJournal really is, because it's kind of what predated Facebook. There's actually an Orange Lounge LiveJournal community. I don't think it's been posted in since 2007, but it's there.
And I am a part of that. Now, the only reason I said Final Fantasy because I remember y'all two cross paths. I think it was at a Distant Worlds concert or something like that.
It was actually Video Games Live.
I was close, damn it. I was close.
You were close. You were right. Yeah, the first time we actually met in person was at Video Games Live, and we knew each other virtually through LiveJournal. And it was actually, believe it or not, it was Captain Spike from GameBuoy.org who said, "Oh, you guys haven't met?" and actually introduced us. So then we met in person at that concert. So
yeah.
I know, right? I just looking at the chat room, it's hilarious. Fifth Dream says, I just said LJ, and Bonds006 says, what's High Five or my yearbook? No, we didn't meet on Zynga, people. We didn't meet on Zynga. Or sorry, not Zynga, Zonga. What was that site called?
Zynga. It's still around.
Is it really?
I believe so. I knew people who used to post there. And don't forget, with LiveJournal, there was the spin-offs. There was Dead Journal for the goths, Dream Journal for the people who for psychics, and you had Open Journal and this journal and that journal.
Every time LiveJournal did something to piss people off, it was like, I'm getting a Dead Journal. That's the day.
And then there's the ultimate alternative, Dreamwidth.
Oh, yeah.
It's still going strong.
Yeah. Crazy. All right, my friend, I got to let you go so we can wrap up the show, but have a good one. Thank you for calling.
You too. Thank you.
All right, bye.
Bye.
I love that he's thinking about starting a Kickstarter to get his van of all his posse, the Anime Jam Session posse, to all these different cons.
Needs to come back out here and do a con.
That's right. GX3.
Or send me a plane ticket so I can go out there.
Anime, both in San Jose. All right. And you're not even going to PAX East. I'm going to the East Coast finally. And anyway.
You know what? See, this upcoming year is going to be the year of lots of money saving, not just to buy the house that we're in.
Right.
Dan and I hit our 10-year anniversary.
Yay.
And we're either thinking Disney World, because I'm not going to a con on my anniversary, or Disneyland at the Grand Californian.
Nice.
So I'm going to be on the shoestring for GX3, but yeah.
My car is paid off this year, so I'm hoping I do the smart thing and save a little more money instead of spending it on frivolous things, but there'll probably be a few frivolous things here and there, let's be real. Anyway, if you didn't get through tonight, I'm so sorry, but please consider sending us an email. Participate at orangeloungeradio.com. But we are running way long, you guys. We have got to wrap things up for the night. But what an awesome show tonight. And yeah, even though to follow up on that one call, Orange Lounge Radio is not changing. We're still the show where every gamer has a voice, and we're going to talk about news every week and comment on it and give our opinions just like we always have. But if we can encourage more people to make games, you know what? Because one of you guys out there might have the idea for the next great game that we talk about on a future show. And so why wouldn't we not want to start that and foster that? So yes, it will be the theme over the coming weeks here at Orange Lounge Radio. Thanks again so much for staying up late and listening to our show, be it on the podcast feed or being here live at the Voice Geeks Network, vognetwork.com. As we say every week, if you like the show, please tell a friend or 5 about the show. Help spread the word. We are an independent production, and indie voices are so important out there. Help spread the word, not just about us, but your favorite indie podcast. That's why I say that. And if for whatever reason you can't think of a lot of people, you really rack your brain, you're like, I just don't know anybody. Please consider leaving us a 5-star review wherever you found this show. iTunes, Stitcher, even if you do tell friends, consider leaving a 5-star review there as well. Those go a long way in helping promotion on those various websites, because the makers of those sites look at that information when they consider who to feature. So really appreciate your consideration for 5-star reviews on sites like iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you found this show. It is time to go around and get everybody's final thought for the night. We will be back here in 7 days to do it all again on the 21st. We're getting towards the end of the year.
You know we might have to do Latka Fest, because it'll be right at the end of Hanukkah.
That's right. Happy Hanukkah. Hanukkah starts Tuesday, right? Yeah. So.
Which, while I was high on codeine, I did the dance of Hanukkah around my house and decorated.
Well, happy Hanukkah to all of our listeners who celebrate this coming week, and we'll check in with y'all on Sunday and see how the festival's going. And we will have the VOG Jam ingredient will come out of the show next week in an epic edition of Listless, like you've never seen before.
Dreidel. Kidding.
Are we gonna now? Were we gonna have people submit ideas as well? Or
yep. We want your I mean, if nobody submits an idea, fine. We'll make our own damn list. But what we want to do, and this is different than our usual list, Loki, we want people to submit their ideas for us to consider for putting on the list. We don't usually do that in advance.
Well, that's good, because I have no idea, so submit away.
That's right. Participate at orangeloungeradio.com is the place to send those. And you can also send those to our vognetwork.com posting of the show. For those of you listening on the podcast, you can leave your ideas there as well. Again, it should be what should the theme of the game be? Should it be about cats? Cats who are
now, Rob, we have to specify that it's felines and not pussy.
Should it be
then we would have twat masters.
Should it be cats with labels? Should that be the theme of the game? Who knows? Send us your ideas. Remember, nothing that's copyrighted, please. We have to throw those out immediately. But anyway, let's go around and get everybody's final thoughts for the night. Darsoccer, I'll start with you. Our sick one. Please feel better, and we'll see you next week. Is that your final thought, really? I hate that. Where's my mute button? All right, that's all right. All right, feel better. My final thought for the night. My final thought is, I don't think I've shaved in like 10 days. I really should probably do that. It's a good idea. And I'm really excited that I finally have a Burger Time cabinet in my house, sort of. Loki.
It's multiple things, and there's more games emulators on there.
Super Burger Time's on it too.
There's more emulators on there. I will be making it a point this week, though, Rob, to copy my ROM set off of my other cabinet, because it's a lot better, and it has Miss World Nude.
That was the one thing I needed on the cabinet. Was
I had to make it work appropriate. Right. It was on there, and it still actually may be on there. That's what I was looking at earlier, but I couldn't find it, so I will copy my old ROM set and I'll dump it on there, and then it'll have
everybody move your body.
It'll have all the weird games on there, including all the
Are we allowed to do Twitch streams of Miss Nude World 96, or is that against their terms of service?
It's probably against their terms of service.
Oh yeah, because it's emulated. You can't do emulated stuff on Twitch anyway. I feel like I need to do a Ustream or something.
I don't know if that computer's. You could probably do it. It's not that fast.
I don't have to run it from the cabinet. I can run it from. Just thinking. All right. Anyway, Loki. Last but not least, your final thought tonight.
I'm going to work on lots of programming this week. Trying to make it a point. Although my son's going to want me to play Lego Marvel with him. Yeah, that's fine. I can play Lego Marvel with him while he's awake. Program when he's not awake. So sounds good.
Sounds like some motivation this week.
I am very motivated.
Awesome.
I can't wait to work on some new stuff. It'll be interesting to start from scratch again. But
by the way, check your email, because our buddies from Cooking with Unity told you how to play Grand Theft Auto 5 with them. So
yes. All right. Damn it, that's gonna take me away from programming, but that's okay. That's okay.
It's a good purpose.
I'm down. I need to get back into Grand Theft Auto because I miss it.
Thank you so much to our friends from Cooking with Unity for coming on the show tonight. Thank you for all of you for showing up and making it an awesome show. A long show, but an awesome show. We couldn't do it without all of your support. Thank you so much. We'll see you in 7 days to do it all again. Have a wonderful week.
You've been listening to Orange Lounge Radio. Orange Lounge Radio is a production of OLR Studios. To join us for a live show, tune into vognetwork.com Sunday nights at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. The views and opinions expressed in this program do not necessarily reflect those of the staff of Orange Lounge Radio or VOG Network, but you know they were all still true. See you next week.